Alrighty then, my gamers, my dear gear enthusiasts. It is a weekend full of entertainment for Arc System Works fighting games fans, as Arc World Tour has been progressing up to top 8s currently, that are going to commence tonight later. But now, before we get ahead of ourselves, we've got our usual Sunday schedule to unleash here. It is 5 p.m. CET. I think next week is actually CEST. Gotta make a mental note to abide by that. Anyway, and that means the weekly Bounty Hunters is just about ready to go off as well. So for the next 3 hours, we'll be settling the 7 show matches shown on the screen currently. The event has no skill bracket restrictions and is open to participate for basically everyone. Of course, the matchmaking team is working tirelessly to make sure that the matches are as even as possible so that we can enjoy as many nail biters as possible. The name of the game, once again, tonight is Guilty Gear Strive, and the format is first to 7 wins. I'm your usual host QK, and now let's get this party started. So we're continuing the trend of having random select matches on the roster this week as well. Been having like, how many weeks? Like 3 or 4 weeks in a row we've been running these ones. Running another 2 tonight as well. First, Lussu Baiken versus Koi's random, followed up by Next Chip versus Spooky's random. Excuse me, let's get this water in there. Woo! So sometimes we run these random matches as random versus random, but honestly, it's quite a bit of fun as well to have one player on random and one player on character lock. These kind of matches are, of course, very blessed by the RNG, so the Variance demons of all sorts will shape out the storyline of these kind of matches very, very strongly. The strongest value you can bring into a match such as this, if you are the player who is randoming, is to have a relatively high pool of characters that you have at least on a basic understanding level. That way you can have, you know, as high chance of a possible, or rather as low chance of a possible to not playing empty hands. It's of course the worst kind of feeling to random into a character you have very little understanding of. Other than the random matches, we're rocking more RNG in the 4th matchup slot, as Worst on the Good Doctor is gonna pull out some good or dubious items versus Leif's Sin. Better choose your pokes and timings carefully, since Faust is one of those characters capable of playing at the same range as Sin likes to do it, which is often mid-far range. Then we enter a sort of a mini Leo gauntlet for our 5th and 6th matchup slots. First, MisterPanda, a wild Leo player, semi-new to our Bounty Hunters roster, will test Wizard's ability to lock down the gorilla on Happy Chaos. After that, we're gonna have our so-called top-seeded match of the evening, as Spoon Leo is making his debut tonight against our very own and very beloved aggro samurai, at least as far as Finnish cheering crew is considered, Hoplan Nagoriyuki. At the end of the evening, we're gonna check out some cube gaming as Zikra makes a comeback to show one of the most technical and certainly one of the most fun and diverse characters to watch in this very game, Asuka. And they're gonna go against Talla's Bridget. Another matchup we've had quite a lot on Bounty Hunters recently, Bridget versus Asuka. But now let's loop back to the first matchup slot of the evening. Which is gonna be Emu on Chip. This will be a little bit of a spin on the Chip, as Emu, as far as I can remember, is... Yes, the story is that Emu is playing on pad. And I suppose that what that entails is that Emu is certainly not a pad player natively, I assume. Not sure if it's sort of a learning experience here, or if we have other circumstances forcing Emu to, you know, play on a pad. But nevertheless, Ruby Elfolt is the opponent tonight. Ruby, as you might imagine after reading the player message, very fond of the explosive moves that are included in Elfolt's toolkit. That entails, of course, the grenade, the pineberry, or I can't even remember what that move is called in Guilty Gear Strive. We just call it pineberry or grenade, right? As well as, you know, just some other explosive as well in the form of the bomb belt that is currently one of the nastiest supers to have in this game. If you get close to the corner, if you manage to get a wall break with it, you have a really nice insurance, and your opponent can't really make a move very easily before that bomb belt is diffused. Give me a moment to call out the players. Oh, never mind. We got both in already, so we are technically ready to hop on. It is, after all, 5 p.m. CET. We are completely ready to unleash whatever is going to happen from here on out. Go wild, gamers. These characters are definitely wild, in the sense that we go all around the places. Of course, Chip with the massive amount of mobility, the ability to go zigzag zoom with alpha plates. And then, of course, Alpha, as we mentioned, has some unique capabilities of taking herself in the air, even from defensive positions, as was sort of showcased last week, where I think Ruby took, was it Talla? On surprise in a couple of defensive situations where you would just go into the grenade, switch positions out of the corner, and get massive value just like that. But the first strike goes for Emu, but runs straight into a close slash counter, or rather par slash counter hit, dropping an immediate burst. This is very common kind of momentum you're gonna see from Chip. If you get hit really badly, especially by counter hits, you probably want to be bursting rather soon than later. Interesting here. So one feature of this move, the pineberry, the grenade, is that Elfelt herself will be very, very inaccessible in the air, while the actual hitbox is on the ground on the grenade. Elfelt herself in the air does not produce any sort of boxes, or rather attacking boxes. The opponent has to be on the ground, but on the other hand, if you want to counter it, you also have to be off the ground more often than not, because it's really, really hard to reach her. And with the BMB, Emu senses that the impending doom is coming. If I don't burst here, it's probably going to be over. From the close slash in to jump cancel into Rekka. This is another really, really nasty tool to deal with as far as Elfolt's pressure is concerned. Basically, an unreactable high-low and maybe a little bit of a throw option there as well. Has really good pressure reset options as well, as this Rekka can basically reset her back into the starter Rekka, which gives her all of her Rekka charges back, and you can just loop that very, very long time unless the opponent is sort of willing to take a risk and pull the trigger. But now Emu starts a little bit more aggressive here with the corner. So much meter as well. Pay attention to the 50 meter, as I was about to say. This is the one thing that you wanna usually be doing as Chip. When you get a hit in around near the corner, you can go Rekka Rekka, Kara cancel, which will put you in a really nice position, break the wall easily, and put yourself in a positive bonus. And if the opponent blocks basically anything past that, it's really, really hard for them to deal with it, and you're gonna be building a shit ton of meter as well. Start with that. Ooh, okay. Spacing was really great for Emu to backdash out of it. Utilizing that backdash quite a bit and making yourself as mobile as possible during those gunshots as well. I think that especially the air gunshots were quite tricky to deal with for Ruby's opponent last week. The gist of those is that you definitely don't want to respect them. You want to be moving around, hopefully tag Alpha before the ricochet shot comes back. It was potentially a great position there for Emu to try to anti-air the opponent from above. Might require you to go airborne yourself again. That seems to be a theme on playing against Alpha. But now, into the bomb belt. Let's see how fucked up this is. Blocks the overhead correctly, and then persists through the bomb belt as well. Really great defense by Emu, but as they say, defense is not enough. You have to eventually attack yourself, and attack Emu does. Combos into the rope. This is a massive amount of damage that you can deal. It does not get you very easily the hard knockdown wall break that, for example, getting a combo on the ground for the Kara cancel super does give you, but I mean, it is a trade-off. You're doing a ton of damage compared to the snowball that you might be getting from the Kara cancel. Heading to the last round of the game number 2, both players almost at full tension as well. Emu can't quite burst immediately, and already from those couple of hits taking around 60% of his life. Missing a beta blade. However, Ruby already committed into a slow recovering move in the form of 5 heavy. We start the combo. Ruby has 50 meter, and that 50 will definitely make sure that we have all sorts of ways to end this round here, taking a second in a row. The explosive potential is definitely unleashed against a soft character like Chip, but overall, like, Elfeld is definitely not on the shy end of characters who, in terms of like how much damage you can deal. Once again into the corner pressure and the Street Fighter like spacing traps that Chip is so good at. So these Rekkas, all of them are very minus on block, some even very minus on hit, especially the Rekka 2. But the gist is that often enough, the spacing you're gonna be left after, especially on Rekka 1, it's not the easiest thing to challenge Chip after, and it creates like a little bit of a guessing game, like, should I try to swing at Chip? And if I miss, then I might actually get whiff punished. Ooh, what a slick dash into an Alpha Blade. Very hard to react to unless you're specifically trying to look for that. Started with the 5 heavy, putting Ruby in the corner. Good 6B for 1 hit. Doesn't get too much out of it though. And Emu starts the corner pressure once again. That was so tricky. Landed so fast there for the throw. Overhead, have the 50 meter to combo it into a shuriken of all things. I think we even saw some shuriken action on Arc World Tour last night from Zando. Into, here we go. This is the nastiest situation. Technically, the life situation is even, but if you look at the resources and the situation on the screen, definitely Ruby favored. Now comes down to jump 2K. However, I think Emu tried to go for a Kara overhead there, which is a little slow on the startup. Got caught by Ruby's 6B Abare. Oh, that was a nice idea. Tried to jump into an air-to-air situation, and oh, that's great. You know, against the clone, the gist is that you usually want to hit the clone instead of blocking it, because blocking it makes Chip very, very plus. Now Kara cancel into the bomb belt once again. One more, going overhead. Imu standing up. However, the timed insurance, it is gonna go automatically off eventually. And if you try to escape on the wrong timing, or with the wrong timing, you're gonna get caught by the explosion. Of course, you don't want to be a sitting duck either, so you kind of have to thread the needle in terms of when am I gonna try to escape and how soon do I have to respect after that escape attempt. Now starting the round here with a gold burst. This is kind of akin to getting a wall break very soon, especially since Imu was able to push the offense and build 100 meter. So let's see what we can do with that 100. Not choosing to spend it here. This next hit is gonna be super powerful unless you had too much juggle distance from the massive counter hit. Able to evade the ricochet shot, and then there we go to the most beloved thing, Rekka Kara cancel. Not quite killing Ruby here, but yeah, the prospects of Ruby coming out of this alive are very, very slim. The best thing that Ruby could have done is spend deflect shield, but at that live situation, not really worth it, right? Just take the burst resources to the next round. Good blocks on Imu on those grenades. I think Imu, one of the players so far that is best, sort of, seems to be best on the same Yomi layer, and or just ready to react to those pretty well. Even if you don't necessarily get a true punish, such as like, I don't know, jump with her and get an air throw or air to air, it's still pretty decent value that you don't get hit like so, because the starter is pretty good for Elthel generally. Yeah, and if Elthel tries to use it and puts herself in a corner position, perhaps if you get a backdash out like Imu got there, it could put you in a very favorable position as well. Ooh, whipping the 6P to the wrong direction. Imu ready to get a punish. Collides with the shot. It's been a theme with these situations where Imu is trying to intercept the air fireball from Ruby in the air. Keeps sort of colliding with the shot as it's going off. Of course, the safest timing would be when the shot has already gone off and is looking to return back in like a second or so. YRC here, oh, but that puts Imu way too far, so no pokes available at that distance. Found the low, straight into an overhead, and Imu opens it up. It took a couple of matches, and I mean, these matches that Imu have been working with have been fairly even as well. Albeit, you know, a couple of these rounds have been sort of cut short by the great usage of Bomb Belt. But Imu has been working pretty, what's the word we're looking for? Pretty diligently. Oh, run straight into the grenade, an immediate burst, read by Ruby, and then the overhead, sorry, the DP as well. Massive damage. And now you have to guess wrong, and it's gonna be over immediately. Yep. Into the cross-up. There are so many different options that you could play here. So what can trigger the Bomb Belt prematurely is your highs and lows from the Rekka, as well as I think the Pine Berry as well, which was the case here. So if you get crossed up, it's gonna go off immediately and you're gonna explode the small smithereens. Attempt to whiff punish here by Imu, but not dashing quite deep enough. The backdash will be caught by the grenade as well. Ooh, and the backdash ends up evading the diagonal alpha, giving once again Ruby this setup. They're so good at actually going into the situation. The low Rekka triggering it, and as the opponent is already low on health, yeah, there's just nothing you can do at that point. It's a really great round finisher. You probably want to go into that Bomb Belt no matter how much health your opponent has. Generally, you probably have already been working with one combo once you get there, and at that point, it's like no matter if the, you know, if the opponent is not ready to be killed, you can also combo into another wall break fairly effortlessly, I want to say. So the situation flows really well as well. 1-2, speaking of flowing. Getting a soft knockdown here with the shotgun. And now Imu has to consider the chip damage potentially coming from the gunshots. We do have quite a lot of meter here into a Kara Super. This is definitely one way to start it. But Ruby has a lot of resources to defend with here. 50 tension and full burst bar. Could potentially go for a burst. Imu not concerned too much. You don't necessarily want to hard bait in this situation. If you drop the combo, a simple like 2P could just be your doom. Yeah, let the opponent use the burst here. That was kind of like you got quite a lot of value out of that as Imu here. Making that comeback would have been great, but most realistically, you're probably looking to drain the burst from the opponent instead. Good whip punish there, look at that! Going under that 5 heavy! And now, yeah, we have enough frames to get the air throw. You can definitely do that without the RC slowdown, but it is a little more difficult. Very nice air to air into a Kara super. Ooh, this is very close to a kill though. Once again, Ruby does have the 50, so all sorts of shenanigans are available, but this time Ruby will have to try to make the comeback. Gets the bait on the YRC, big starter. Flips the position though, so opponent towards mid-screen. 5P anti-air, not quite the highest damage, but goes for the jump cancel after a close slash again. Imu was ready to return that with a DP. Ooh, nice. Puts a 2S active as the opponent lands there. Once again, 60% damage combo. Hurts quite a bit. There we go. That's the kind of thing that we've been looking for. I think nobody has been able to consistently crack the code so far on that air fireball. But now Imu positioning perfectly under Elfelt and pressing, that was 5B, was it not? So that goes to show that, you know, often enough. Ooh, the Imu press a button here. I see a far slash startup, so that will potentially seal Imu's deal. Definitely was trusting that Ruby could end up, finish that combo there. Oh, and another really nasty feature of that Rekka sequence. Even if you miss one, you can whiff cancel into your next Rekka if you so desire. And sometimes Elfelt players will actually use that to move around during Ogi, using the S Rekka as a makeshift command dash and then going straight into the high-low mix-up instead. As generally the high-low tends to be your second Rekka. Yeah, kinda like so, although in this situation you did miss it because Imu was holding FD. But nevertheless, if your opponent is not ready to counterplay in between, you can certainly keep up the sequence. Wire C to get out of there, followed up by, you guessed it, the Pineberry. Has been one of the favorite tools of Ruby so far. Great. Ooh, actually, from the trade, that ended up favoring Imu quite a bit. It is still so tricky. And I mean, as long as your opponent doesn't have an active solution to it, or a consistent solution to it, the wise men tell you, why should you stop? Why should I stop doing it if it's working? Not quite enough meter here for a bomb belt, which would have been probably the death of Imu. Drifting forward, drifting backwards, meter for meter. Ooh, great play there! Making the jump 2K whiff. We were actually talking about this situation in the Discord earlier this week. How does one deal with chip jump 2K? Well, one of the more consistent option is make it whiff. It is ridiculously hard to challenge if you're trying to ground it anti-air. So you could do stuff like try to backdash out or press your dash macro, dash out of it, and then try to punish the landing instead. Yeah, really great bait there on DP. Sorry, on burst by Ruby. Into the plus frames for the grenade. I think it's like Ruby is naturally playing at a distance where a lot of these DPs just don't do anything. So doing airtight block strings into something that pushes you really, really far back, and at that point it's like, we could just hang out at this distance and wait for the DP, or we could maybe play the grenade reset. Ooh, critical whip there. Taking the rope and missing the close slash equivalent. Oh, okay, yeah. So that's a hit crap nowadays, so if you are blocking successfully, you are not gonna take the bomb though. Nice whip punish here. Not quite the 50 meter in the bank that Imu would so desire for the Kara Super, but next sequence certainly ain't gonna even need it. Because, you know, I guess the chip sequences do the but run straight into a big 5-heavy counter hit. If Ruby had the combo there, that would have almost killed Emu right off the bat, so definitely worth a burst very early. The overhead Rekka finds its mark, we reset into a cross-up, hello? Absolutely disgusting, waiting for the DP never comes. Emu instead takes the opportunity to press buttons, take his turn instead, and now we see the air throw break. Very costly, so now both players relatively out of resources, except... Oh, no! But the deflect shield! The curse of deflect shield! When you are actually the player who's facing the mid-screen, it will actually not do anything because it only pushes away your opponent, not yourself. Therefore, was not able to get any value out of that deflect shield whatsoever, I think. Prompting Ruby to steal the set 7-1, but it was definitely a challenge kind of run for Emu to begin with, as we indeed were taking on that new gaming peripheral in the form of playing on a pad. Nevertheless, Emu did perform quite well, and especially those, for example, the setups, the tightrope setups, which requires quite a bit of precision as far as inputs goes, was running those pretty successfully here and there. Right, but we are gonna enter our random sequence here. So first Koi randoming against Lussu, and then Spooky randoming against Nex. So let's sort a couple of logistical things first. Let's see where we are gonna send the random results as well. Alright, gonna do it over the Discord, so that means... Was I on the... I think I was on the right setup as well, so bring out this too. Koi's wheel. We can start. We're gonna start with Baiken. And I think both of our players tonight chose to keep the duplicates in the pool, so when you random into a character, that character will not be removed from the pool, it will stay there, so duplicates are potentially available. So if fate so desires, Koi could random into some of the top tier characters that they're extremely good at piloting. So Baiken is around, let's see, where are we? Not very confident here. This will actually be a Baiken mirror now that I think about it. So Lussu is potentially quite favorite to bring in the first point here. But I mean, in terms of, you know, of course, whenever you sort of match against character-locked player versus a randoming player, it's an interesting sort of ace card situation where usually the player that is randoming is rather slightly higher in the skill level. Also, are we just getting stuck here immediately? I was actually playing some games earlier myself, and the servers were extremely uncooperative. So I was a little bit worried that something like this might come up. Not on my pristine Arc World Tour weekend, please. And especially around the potential Venom release date as well. Servers, please deliver us these matches. So I would say let us try one more time. If the same problem persists, we're probably gonna do the most common tech world solution. Try turning it on and off again. If that doesn't work, we'll probably make one of the players host the lobby as a last ditch effort. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Well, well, well. We have a really increasing amount of difficulties with servers as of recent. $15-minute bug? What's the 15-minute bug? Yeah, I think servers are not working too well today, because yeah, I was playing myself earlier as well, and I got thrown out from the servers like 5 times in a row before we were able to establish a proper match with my opponent. And it's like, I don't know, there's nothing particularly wrong, doesn't seem to be wrong with either player's connection either. So it's like, I don't know. And that makes it especially nasty because sometimes there are problems in the player's connections, but when you're so used to the servers chugging, it's really hard to tell like when that is actually the case and when it's just Strive Earth doing Strive Earth things. But yeah, we're gonna have the players reboot their games, see if that helps. I guess better having difficulties connection-wise at the start of the set rather than in the middle of the set. That would be the nastiest cliffhanger. If you start a set and it gets really, really good, really, really even, heading into like the mid-game matches, and then boom, the server hits you with "No, you shall not pass." But yeah, as I was about to sort of speculate earlier, when we have these one player on character lock and one player on randoming side, generally the side that is randoming is slightly of higher skill level, which will be, of course, balanced by the fact that you are gonna get a random character. You have to always remember that, you know, the higher the skill level of the player, the higher chance that they can actually pilot very many characters on like a very sort of basic level, aka their fundamentals are gonna be good, therefore they can make really good use of even characters that they can't really you know, pilot on a super high competitive level. Yeah, it is, as they say, cooked.
形なき沙汰あれば魔導の始末を請負いたす。己は美貌の三品侍、死道死に花無用の所存。
Interesting. So we're having a discussion about a particular 15-minute bug where this kind of problem surfaces, and then it actually takes like 15 minutes to subside, and then the players can play against each other. That sounds really weird, but I definitely would not put it past Strive servers to cook out something really weird like that. Yeah, we had problems like this last week as well, and it definitely did not fix with one of the players hosting the room. We could try playing the other game first, which would be this instead. Oh, but didn't Koi have... Damn, didn't Koi have, like, scheduling problems, so we needed to play this match, like, rather fast? Oh boy, alright. One thing at a time. Let's see if Next is available. Okay, so we are indeed gonna play this one next, so hoping it is the 15-minute bug. It will indeed be more than 15 minutes, usually around 20 minutes to complete these. So let me make a couple of adjustments here. So get Spooky's random list. And then we're gonna hop onto Spooky's wheel. First one is gonna be a Geo. It's definitely super high on my personal wish list that, you know, problems like these wouldn't persist. They've been persisting through since the start, since the dawn of time for Guilty Gear Strive. And we have cleared past a couple of issues, but then we've gotten more of the same sort of issues as time has passed. So it's like, yeah, what do you do? Is it just the game code that is so spaghetti that it just can't handle it? Or like our Arc system servers just completely incompetent? Or what is the problem? What could be the case? Apparently, apparently now from the pair that we were supposed to play games of, I think Spooky is having difficulties connecting. This is quite cursed, as they say. Alright, I guess we're finally heading in. Hopefully this one is gonna work well. Let me see if I can get a peek where Giovanna is on the power tiers of Spooky. It is rather high up there. So this should be a decent opportunity to take an opening match. So into another chip matchup here. Of course, the opponent will be rotating between characters. And I think I forgot to take this lobby off rematch as well, but shouldn't be a problem. We can modify that later. Ooh, with a cross-up kick into a decently big combo. Does know the route as well. You would imagine, as Spooky had Giovanna relatively high up there, and some of these, you know, some of these super high damage, too heavy routes are definitely something that you should learn very early into your Giovanna journey so that you can do the maximum amount of damage. Gets caught up there, I think, showing a throw here. Next coming up from the air with a big combo of their own. I also have the wrong name, so let me fix those. There we go, this should be better. Juggling the rope, Spooky deems that we don't want to take the wall break here. Of course, from the rope combos, you usually don't have access to a hard knockdown, since it's hard to go for a super that would break the wall like this. You usually have to combo into something grounded. As Zanzei Roga, even if you can't do that super in the air, it will never break the wall. It will actually force the opponent back into mid-screen. Started with the big 5 heavy, one of the favorite buttons for Giovanna players. 10 frames of startup and very decent reach. Ooh, nice jumping out of the empowered flip kick. It's a couple of tightrope normals. All of those are, of course, dealing very decent amount of damage. Even if you drop the combo, being able to connect a couple of those is very powerful. Not only do they deal a lot of damage, but they do corner carry the opponent quite a lot as well. But Spooky does take this first match. Giovanna, one of the higher tier characters, or the personal in the personal character power tier list. All right, good. Let's do a quick switcherino here. Put the settings on winner space. And then next random. Oh, it's gonna be Giovanna again. Yeah, we could also try, I think there was a concern for the players that the connection is not the best, so we could... We also have one of the players host, as there are some routing issues if the host is sort of too far away from the players. So I think we're gonna go with that option. Bear with us. We're doing our best to get the best experience for the players. And it is somewhat comforting to hear that it's somewhat comforting to hear from multiple different sources that the servers are indeed not doing really great at the moment. It's always a little bit of a relief that it's sort of out of your hands and there's really nothing you can do to help the situation at the moment. As a TO, of course. We're doing a little bit of switcherinoing, TOing, all that kind of good stuff in the background. Are likely gonna hop into a player-hosted room in order to try to remedy the delay situation. Okay, we got a room. So let's hop off of here for now. Fingers crossed that this will actually do something. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. We'll see. Yeah, I'm getting really long communications with the servers as well at the moment. Alright, got the players ready to go. It's gonna be another Giovanna, double Giovanna RNG random. There are 29 characters currently, soon to be 30. But those proficient in mathematics and what do you call them? Probability. You can sort of you can try to calculate how low of a chance it is to random into the same character multiple times in a row. We've sometimes had a player get the same random 3 times, which is decently rare, but it can happen. I think we've also agreed, because the first game was extremely laggy, we are gonna start from a 0-0 situation, granted that this is actually gonna is actually working out. Right, here's the hoping that we finally get some Guilty Gear. It's been 10,000 years. We are hungering for content now. First off, is it a good connection? Is it a problem with routing through QK, who's living in Finland? Looks fairly smooth, but sometimes it actually looks much smoother than earlier. So here's the hoping. Once again, there we go. Ooh, but actually won't be able to cancel into a... Was that cancel into a 5 heavy? But it actually ended up whipping there after the counter 5 heavy. Now here's Nexus pressure in the corner. We're reaching that ever so important 50 tension mark. Ooh, that doesn't look promising at all. In slow motion, we move into the next stream, and then next frame, press it. Stabilizes, maybe. Good reversal super. I think I saw a 5k from Nex. But it is definitely not over, and we have 100 meter to build here. Would we be able to go into a super? I think if you combo it like that, you can definitely go into Bunky Messai, can't you? So if the tightrope combo does lead into a grounded follow-up, then you could potentially have your heart knockdown as well. But I mean, these combos are generally considered rather difficult sort. Which just makes sense because, you know, they're pretty high value as they are. Right, through the wall we go, and here we go into the best. Ooh, tried to go for a YRC immediately. Understandable, because you have to try to end Chip's victory march as soon as possible. Every single one of the normals that you connect on the opponent is gonna build so much meter. And this time the outcome will go in the favor of Nex. Try to inquire about the connection as well, if this is actually playable. Okay, a little bit shaky, but the decision seems to be that it is playable, so we are gonna persist with it. So next random would be Sin for Spooky. Which is rather high up in the power tiers as well. Relatively standard character, relatively strong standard character as well. So there's you can get a pretty strong day one Sing going if you know sort of which things you wanna get down first. Like a couple of different situations, such as, you know, how does the burning of the 2 stamina work in pressure situations, or how do you combo by burning 2 stamina, that kind of stuff. Caught them in the air, and now into the heavy button pressure. At the very most basic core, you could do something like, you know, connect a couple of buttons into heavy buttons and then straight into your pseudo high-low, which is the elk hoof. Which is relatively hard for the opponent to deal with unless they know the situation. Get the super S, well, that's definitely gonna kill Chen. Yeah, that's only a couple of sequences that Spooky had to connect there to get that instant kill. Oh, even on hit, you can go into the pseudo high-low and double it up, as we say. Now, quite low on stamina, so we're gonna have to wait and let that unique resource recover. You can kind of substitute it for tension in certain situations. Ooh, that's a good hit into DP conversion. That's a good choice of routes. And then into Elk Hunt, Elk 1, Elk 2, get the round. Very simple kind of stuff. Sin Kisk. So that'll be one situation. We're gonna roll another character for Spooky. Which will be, is it gonna be Elfelt? Yes, indeed. I think I saw Elfelt rather high up in the rankings as well, around the mid-ish. I can't actually, I didn't have time to read what the tiers for Spooky said, and on my interface they're just so small I can't read. What does it say? I'm gonna presume it is, you know, somewhat of the same tiers that we usually use, so this would be like kind of basics kind of tier. Alright, Elfelt versus Chip. Elfelt, same deal as Chip. Same deal as Sin. If you learn a couple of different things quick, such as like how the Rekka pressure works, how your resets with the Pineberry work, you can already have some really nasty pressure on the opponent. Because you can loop the pressure, Rekka pressure forever. Theoretically, if your opponent does not find a way to end it. And same deal with Pineberry. You will always land into a nice reversal here. You will always land into basically a plus frame and or a mix-up situation if your opponent lets it go off. With the drive-by, jump heavy, enabling the tight rope. It's especially like Nex has had really great execution of the tightrope, and again able to successfully finish the combo without any kind of drops. We only need one more of those. Usually starting from a good hard knockdown situation, we could actually get the wall here. Not quite. One more. 5k into a tick throw. Clean job. This can actually go either way, like really fast, considering how good Nex is with those tightrope combos, but also how much offensive potential you have on Elfald. Finds the overhead Rekka. RC into big cash out. It's gonna go into a wall break, but because the RC was used for confirming the Rekka combo, won't have a hard knockdown. So Nex gets to play here on next screen. Being really tricky here, landing straight into a close slash. However, Spooky with the combo drop. Throws out of the corner, but that's luckily for Spooky. All that they needed that time. And we're gonna go into the next random. Which will be Nago, Potemkin. Very close, is it? It is gonna be Nago. And that is also in the higher echelon of characters for Spooky. This actually, if you observe the sort of the split of the characters here on the power tier, there's a lot of characters on the higher end of the spectrum. So this is kind of like probably an optimal kind of split for character tiers that you want to bring into these random select matches if you are the person randoming. Of course, you know, these are personal tiers and will sort of at the same time synchronize with your player skill level. So I gotta always remember that. What was that? Hello? That was really funky. It's kind of like Nex was running into the wall for a second. Rare drop here. This is the tightrope combo. We still have pressure though. With the far slash sequence, we're gonna burn some meter, or either burn some blood. Very close to popping, but remember, Naga always has. Is that close enough to hit? No, that's actually gonna whiff. Is this one of those situations that Alternate was talking about a couple of weeks ago, where you actually wanna try to do the super with a Kara input so that you could get close enough to the wall to actually connect that super, and or to fix the problem of having a sour spot hit. Oh, wait, what? That kind of looked like Spooky was actually throwing the first, or rather the last airborne frame there, which is actually a feature in all Guilty Gear games, even in Strive. Through the wall we go. Nex has so much meter, but do we get to utilize it? Drift forward, not daring to press a button. There was a move starting from Spooky there, so understandable that you don't necessarily want to gamble on it. You would probably have to DP, seeing that, you know, the opponent already is initiating one of their normals. Right, let's see what the wheel is going to bring us next. Is 3-1 situation in favor of Spooky at the moment? Oh, it's going to be another heavy hitter, Slayer, next. And I think, yeah, that's a character we've seen Spooky play before for sure. So rather high on the power rankings. Another opportunity perhaps for Spooky to grow the lead here. But this is a very interesting kind of split. If you look at this split on the character power tier list, that would dictate that Spooky is almost always playing at, like, very relatively close to their peak performance when you have this many characters at the top of the list. Meaning that your random power level is relatively close to your like maximum potential power level. Very rare kind of conundrum if you ask me. Usually, especially in Guilty Gear fighting games, you are somewhat married to your strongest character or characters, so it's really hard to reach that same performance on multiple alts. We would cancel here into the super. It is extremely volatile matchup, Slayer versus Chip. You definitely don't want to get caught if you can help it. but sometimes it's not a choice that you can make very easily. Oh, the close slash! One of the few anti-airs that can actually anti-air chip out of the jump 2K. We were talking about that earlier, how on most characters you probably don't want to try to challenge that, but the characters with the best anti-air close slashes, maybe they can, maybe they should. But this time, with the multiple jump cancels, next being tricky in... being quite tricky, but not necessarily tricky enough. Getting thrown there by Spooky, and now straight in front of next. We got the punish. The active frames of Deflect Shield are still available there, pushing next far away. One more hit, could be a kill. RC, that's not quite gonna kill as it's late. Had to be RC there for a guaranteed conversion. Yeah, we have to burst that. Now next on the warback, got a really nice fast hit into a Kara Cancel Super. Spooky is building quite a bit of meter here on a positive bonus still. Ooh, this 2K, I don't think it's gonna recover. This is post-flash, one of the fastest supers in the game after all. So it's gonna cleave the whole screen and get Spooky another victory. Alright, next one. This should be more low on the list, right? Bridget is the next one, and I think I saw that, yeah, it's in the second most bottom tier. So this should be a good opportunity for next to try to extract some points. And this is also a really great point to try to mount your comeback in terms of, you know, score situations in FT7s. Trying to keep the gap as close as possible can not only mean a lot in terms of like how great your prospects of still winning the set are, but also in the form of your mental state. If the opponent runs away with too much of a lead, that usually is gonna weigh rather heavily on your mindset. Or it turns to, unless you're some sort of machine Terminator who just doesn't get affected by things like this at all. And it's hard to be somebody like that. Ooh, still able to actually intercept next out of that double jump off the rope. Kickstart My Heart will be punished successfully, and into the tightrope we go. Successful combo, nice. Drops the ender, but we are still in the corner, so happy little accidents, as they say. Wasn't quite able to build the 50 meter, but we don't even need it. Swipe that credit card or arm blade, whatever, on that Bridget, and take it to the next round. With a cross-up, ooh, definitely screwed up Spooky's input there. Probably wanted to go for a deflect shield, which turned into a wild assault upon that cross-up. That's the power of stuff like this. You still have to input them successfully, even if they theoretically cover both the left and the right. Right, gold burst into the shuriken. Spooky will have to work very, very hard here. But what can we do if we don't have the strong fundamentals? You can only do so much. You can only do, usually, the Guilty Gear strike throw or something very simple like that. And X indeed is gonna take a point here. Next one is gonna land on... Is it Johnny? I think Johnny was one of the stronger characters for Spooky as well. Yep. In fact, yeah, might be one of the strongest characters for Spooky. I think we've seen Spooky play Johnny the most. So kind of hitting the big money here, so to speak. This would of course be a massive victory for Next to take, but it is probably the most difficult matchup that you could face here. And that's not a great place to be at a score point like this. You were hoping to sort of reverse the momentum slightly more permanently than for just one game. And here we go, opponent with one of their mains. Aggressive burst, trying to keep Next in the corner. Next burst also at a pretty decent timing here, reversing the positions, putting Spooky in there. Mistfinder loop, as long as you have meter remaining, you can try to stay in there. Misses the input here. Next coming down with a jump heavy and straight into a mix-up. Ooh, this could be good. We have the 50 meter as well. Ooh, misses the wall climb shot. Wire C for a plus frames. We cross up. This time we get this deflect shield out successfully. However, the remainder of tension for Spooky is gonna go down the drain for that Joker trick, attempting to snipe next out of a grounded approach. Backing off, waiting for a potential whiff punish, but the blade of this character reaches far and wide, and extremely wide on the ground. The horizontal range is one of the best out of far slashes, or rather as far as far slashes are considered. I guess characters like Nago and Yuki have more range there, but also Nago just doesn't have a standard far slash at all. In the loop, Mrs. TK Mistfinder comes down with the button still, and we deal again. Guard crush. This is the Johnny lifespan. We're kind of expecting it to go down like this. Spooky will take another 0.522. And it is time to ask the wheel, what is the next one? What do the variance demons say? They say next one is May. Ooh, that rhymes. It's kind of cool. So May is around the mid of the power tiers. So far, Spooky has been performing fairly well with. Well, actually, we've gotten only one other character in this tier before, and that was Elfelt. And that one, Spooky took that one, right? If I recall correctly. Apparently the stuttering is getting quite heavy, as they say. So we're debating what to do at this point, if we're still gonna play it till the end, or apparently the rollback is jumping up to 5 here and there. Okay, looks like it is bad enough so that we are not gonna finish this one. It is frustrating, but you know, it is what it is when it comes to internet matches. It was rather, what's the word I'm looking for? Ambitious match as well, in terms of, you know, how much distance there is between the players. So it is final and the match will be called, and that means we're gonna try one more time this previous one, if it is in fact the whatchamacallit, the 15-minute rule that was mentioned earlier. Hopefully so. It would be extremely cursed to not be able to run either one of our random match sets. I mean, we've had a lot of cursed things happen as of recent. So let's create the room again with the same code as previously.
Welcome
What was the conundrum with the characters? It was a bike and a mirror, right? So we can proceed, or rather, we can proceed with that outcome. And I think, yeah, I should have the room back on non-retry type of a match. Alright, here's to hoping. Are we gonna get a match? Or is it gonna be the most cursed bounty hunters ever? Let me flip the names as well. Oh, 15-minute bug? Is it real? Is it actually real? And it works like that? What the actual fuck? Like, I'm not complaining, but it is very strange. Alright, into the match we go. So, Koi is gonna be the player randoming here. We'll be randoming on the first match into a Baiken, which was, I think, around halfway point of Koi's character power tier list. We're also rocking the light Baiken here. Ooh, we'll be able to get a throw. This might be an opportunity, but is this a safe jump? No, it is not. And the reversal super from Lussu will take care of that small little opportunity that Koi had for bringing it back. But this first match is definitely in the favor of Lussu. Mirror matches are also a different kind of beast. They, by definition, the most even match you could ever play in a fighting game. Koi attempting to go for a red parry there, missing the timing, unfortunately. Also coming down with a tatami mat. YRC straight into a parry. Now, of course, that YRC on block being, or rather on hit being plus 10, sort of does not necessarily allow you to go into a clean parry. Could go into a red one, but nevertheless, Lussu opens it up 1-0. And actually, let me switch this into this, and this into this. So we have Koi's power chart as well. Okay, and then we roll. I was getting worried for a moment, but 15-minute buck, what is that even? Next random will be a Johnny, which will be rather high in the confident tier for Koi. If we take a look at this spread, this will be a slightly more a power tier chart with a little bit more variation. Nevertheless, there are still quite a lot of characters up here in the confident tier. And I mean, if we consider the basics tier strong still, like a strong prospect to random into, there are relatively low amount of like really super like bad picks for Koi, like around 6-ish characters that you probably expect to lose most of the time. Right. Instant air dash Yozan missing, but no reaction from the opponent fast enough. There we go. This time when it's on block though. Ooh, that was so tricky. Cross up. Slice on the, what's that? Slice on the card, and the turn up was the hitbox that caused the initial strike there. Through the wall we go. And now, nice double backdash, able to make the Yozan whiff. And get a whiff punish in. A little tricky here. Lussu, however, on the second 5D, ready to mash the buttons and interrupt initially. However, Koi still getting around in. Connecting the Yozan in the air on the opponent should put you at a frame advantage as far as Baiken is considered. That was, whoa! What? There was like a cross up into Yozan to the wrong direction, and then another cross up. That was a really peculiar situation. But situations like that can happen when you are playing a step dash characters, and especially a step dash character like Johnny, who moves forward really fast, especially in the modern patches. Get a gunshot combo. Really nice ping pong in the corner. Koi says, "We're done." time to buy some real estate, sink a Wild Assault stack into it. This will miss, and in fact give Lussu a successful combo. Another ping pong one that should go into a win. Clean usage of meter, 100 into 2 combos. Technically a 2-touch there, if I checked correctly. That is what Guilty Gear Strive is really about, if you manage to manage your resources perfectly. And into it we go again. Is there a chance to get a wall break here? I guess not, because, you know, you can only do so much. But in the mix-up glow slash, that's a big starter, giving Lussu a 2-game head start. Time to ask the goddess, what is the next one? That was a decently large win for Lussu, I would say. Nago will be the next pick, which is also in the same tier. Yes, indeed. But this should bode fairly well if, you know, I'm not sure if Lussu actually has Koi's power tier available, but if you sort of cross-reference it and you're like, oh, I just beat one of their stronger characters, is that gonna mean I have a decent chance? Like, if you have a super good chance, if you have a strong chance against the confident tier characters, then you should probably be pretty confident yourself in on the rest of the set. Of course, it's never quite that simple, as a lot of things can happen. There's variance, and you know, players are, of course, not perfect at evaluating where their potential on the character is. And of course, everybody plays, like, you're always playing a different matchup. And it doesn't necessarily always matter how good the opponent is if you don't have the matchup experience to know what the other the opponent's character is doing. And bouts like these are impossible to prepare for. If you, like, usually you know what character you're gonna be playing against ahead of time, like 3-4 days before the match, so you have an opportunity to practice against it. But this kind of match, it could be anything. You just have to sort of go with your comboing into the, not quite comboing into the gun, but on the ground gun. Still gonna be plus on block, and Lussu still pushing it. Here we go with a standard. Plays it very safe. Instead of going for a high-low out of that tatami mat, just cancels into a jump and goes for another one. And on Nago, I think it's really close, but even with that one bar, which is technically Nago's highest defense modifier still, won't be able to persevere through that damage. Wakes up with a parry. Very decent amount of damage, goes for a very disjointed escabari. It's a great option if you're expecting a reversal, or, speaking of reversals, powering through the second hit of the DP, which was supposed to be a fast, unreactable overhead, will be reversaled by Lussu. To the other side, jump slash into, not quite gonna be a kill. Lussu doesn't have the resources yet. But also, Koi won't get to utilize their resources whatsoever here. Lussu on a 3 in a row. I keep forgetting which OBS scene I have rolling on. I'm so dumb. Anyway, here's Zato for Koi. Which I'm gonna be surprised if this is high. It is actually high. Are you kidding me? Was Koi one of these players who actually like playing technical characters? Now that I look at the higher tier stuff, Koi has not only Zato, but also Happy Chaos, Bedman in there. I mean, Chip is relatively technical as well. And Asuka also in the basics tier, so technically Koi is like fairly confident with even some of the harder to pilot characters in Guilty Gear Strive. Trading with the Froggy, that's actually usually good for the opponent of Zato, because that will destroy the puppet. And of course, you generally are considered one of the weaker characters in the game when you are playing solo. Good 6p under the coppery cancel though. That is universal character knowledge. No matter what character you are playing, you should be able to do that. trying to waste time as much as possible, get that puppet back, time to work in tandem, summon into a Pierce. Oh, and then Yozan from the air connects a little too high, allowing Koi to have frame advantage to get the throw. But now the little guy is gone. We have to play solo. How good are we at playing solo? Spending meter there into a throw. We could actually end this. This should be it. We could double jump here. Or just fall into it. I guess that technically goes into a landing recovery. So if you're not holding FD on the way down, or I guess if you're unlucky, that must have been like a freak accident that you land between the hits, then go into landing recovery, and then you're just guaranteed punish. Oh, was there a punish text there? That was a really peculiar kind of situation. I don't think Koi was hitting anything there per se. Oh, Sato can double jump. You're absolutely correct, because flight. So there was no, oh, again, the same situation. The 6 heavy should be cleaved here, but this is only start of Koi's health bar. Stop that advance with the 5B. Very nice. Summon into and an unsummon as well. We do have the strats. We do have the tech down. Where's Lussu's chance? Ooh, goes under the company once again. Lussu's chance to try to pressure while there is no prospect of little guy coming out. Better finish here. Trying to play it very safe. However, playing it maybe a little bit too safe. Koi goes for a hard bait as well. Lussu delaying the burst. Still getting value out of it. Was that a trade? Yeah, that was a trade in Lussu's favor, right? Summoning. Oh, that's a big one. The very classic, one of the best anti-airs that Sato can do. Instead of trying to gamble with your standing hurt boxes, just go for the oppose. The oppose will absorb basically anything that the opponent can do while you are swinging your own big 2 heavy counter hit. And oh, baby, that does a lot of damage. Speaking of, let's see if Lussu hits something here. This would register as a head. And indeed, it does. Putting Koi on the scoreboard. And it's good that Koi was able to get this point in, because earlier, losing with, what was it? Losing with one of the, was it with Johnny? One of the higher tier characters shouldn't have felt too good for Koi. Now, next random for Koi is going to be Ino. Another relatively, not necessarily a technical character. I mean, Ino's still like rather technical, let's be honest. Unique for sure, and has very unstandard kind of options, especially for her movement. So generally considered like a character that is not like the most plug and play out of the cast. In the middle of the power tiers though, so there should be a chance. Let's see how good Lussu is playing against this character. We already have the long range notes coming out, which, you know, bodes fairly well. If you're just ramming your Ino into the opponent, that's generally not gonna go necessarily too well. I mean, you do have pretty high commit, like high risk, high reward options to send yourself at them. You know, just the forward dash, go for the high option, or stroke the big tree, go for the low option. You could play something really comitative like that. But if you can also play like safer neutral, say, you know, play with the nodes or chemical loves, that's, you know, that's it's always good to have variance or options that you can perform, so you're not always doing the same thing. Once again into the ping pong combo. That could be a wall break. Not quite. But now Koi is on their last hit points. We get a big overhead hit. Really good combo as well. Lots of resources. If only Koi would get into a pressure situation, but no, immediately Lussu going into the reversal parry, putting a stop to all hope of running any sort of pressure for Koi. And the next one is gonna be looking like Ramlethal. He is indeed gonna be that. In the power tier list, that would be, is it? He is not confident here. Let me actually turn on the lights as well. It's getting quite dark in here. Alright, Lussu in a decent position here. 4-1, and the next random is not the most confident for the opponent. However, we do have some stuff. We can go for basic stuff like land a far slash, going to a wild assault, and then deal half of the opponent's life in damage. Basic things like, ooh, nice! Skip to the other side, and as good as Ramlethal's 6p is, if you 6p into the wrong direction, it is gonna do absolutely nothing. Lining into the close slash once again. That seems to be a sequence that Lussu likes quite a bit. When you get a throw in and attach the rope and go into your best mix-up situation, why don't you just land into an empty close slash? Which, of course, if your opponent eats that, that's going to be a massive amount of damage. So the rewards are definitely on point. Playing strike throw. We know the plus frames. Ondo, plus a lot, especially if the opponent does not challenge you. There's a challenge initially, however, won't be able to get out of the corner. And now, with the big 6 heavy, with both swords intact, Koi is going to get around here. But the last round is very favored for Lussu in terms of the resources left. Burst gauge completely full. I will in fact be able to use it very early into this round. Trying to defend the space ahead of them with the jump heavy. Indeed, one of the harder buttons to anti-air in this game. Wall break with that gun super, and then into some more. We would like to put an end to this. Oh, unfortunately pushed Lussu away from the explosion, but now we should have a close slash punish. Do we have the combo? Kinda had the start of the combo, but dropping it right there. The active deflect shield will push Lussu away from that cross-up Yozan. How do we defend this? I like the option. Try to dash very deep into a favorable anti-air position, because it's much harder to defend against those tatami mats when the opponent is far, far away. I like the idea, however, the timing of the anti-air didn't quite align there. I wonder if Ramlethal actually has a close slash strong enough to challenge there. Next random is gonna be Sol, the punchy man himself, which is in the basics tier, as he is for actually many players. There's a decent amount of players who have, at least at some point or another, dabbled with Sol a little bit. I think the harder part of Sol is the combo routes, though. The pressure, the neutral, not too bad. Like, scoring hits is okay, but converting out of those hits has actually started to be a little bit of a problem, especially in Season 4, when the combos were completely remade, and some of the more optimal combos are really, really hard to hit, such as the Fafnir clean hits. So technically, if we compare to Season 3 Sol, like if you don't have good combo execution, your combo damage is gonna be a little lower than previously. But still able to deliver enough damage for those hits. Koi on the defensive now, gets thrown. What's the mix? Are we gonna go into miss 5 heavy into nothing? But also the frames were slowed down there by Koi. I think that's the downside of when you go for a very wide open option like an empty something. The opponent does have a lot of frames to try to mount the counter option of some sort. Staying at a very safe distance from that S Volcanic Viper. Getting a decent cash out as a punish as well. Attach the rope again. What's it gonna be now? Again, into an empty close slash. I mean, technically the unseeable mix-up at that point is the left-right, and then the cash out for guessing the direction wrong is gonna be, you know, taking the biggest starter of the opponent's character. Under the bringer. Starting to rely on that bringer maybe a little bit more. Ooh, okay, got the parry. I'm surprised that the red parry was... Wait, can the red parry can never score a successful full animation, right? Is that correct? Because that looked like a complete point-blank distance and should have gone, naturally should have gone into the animation. Nice air-to-air, puts Lussu back onto the ground and spend 50 meter, make sure that this combo is gonna count for something. Load up that 5D maximum damage on the break, and Koi He's gonna get another point in there with the punch man. Good stuff. Like, yeah, there is quite a bit of variance. Like, sometimes you are gonna lose a match with one of the characters you feel confident with, and then on the other hand, sometimes you get a match with a character you're not so confident with. Kai as Sol is gonna be in the basics tier for Koi. Another extremely standard character as far as Guilty Gear has always been considered. The footsies man himself, the king. The swinger of far slash. One of the best far slashes in the game. Not necessarily in terms of the reach of that move, although the reach of far slash from Kai is rather, yeah, look at that, rather large. But it boasts a lot of different other qualities as well as, you know, it's fairly easy to hit confirm. Very easy to get massive damage out of if you have stuff like Wild Assault. And just like that, Koi is actually one touch away from killing and gets it immediately with the use of Stun Dipper RC, the classic throughout ages. Ooh, that's a very aggressive start. Close slash or micro dash into a close slash, which calls out the round start flip kick from Koi. Got electricity on the opponent, not blocking on wake up. That might have been a reversal parry. What was that cross up into? Another one. What is happening? I haven't seen these moves from Kai mains even. We got some interesting stuff on the table here. And the SDP to seal the deal. That was a really, really fast one. Could it be the more standard the character, the more Koi is able to unleash those fundamentals? We are gonna go into Ino again. And even though Ino is in the same category as Sol and Kai in the basics tier, yeah, like we said, it's so much easier to play like the layer 1 game plan of these other characters, such as like especially Kai. And that Kai for Koi looked actually kinda cracked, not gonna lie. But now we're gonna have to try to crack the code again with Ino. Let's see if second time is the charm. The problem earlier was, you know, just getting the game plan started, and every time Koi would be able to get to the mix-up position, I think it was the reversal parry, exactly! The reversal parry! Lussu just tried there and got baited by Koi this time. That's really great memorization of what options the opponent liked to play previously. Or, I mean, the parry would catch the low as well, but I think it's more the delayed nature of the low option that caught Lussu there. That's backdash into relatively big punish as well. Playing the left-right and then into low. As long as it flows, oh, was able to bait the red parry there in the middle and then straight into the super command grab, delivering massive amount of damage, especially when it triggers the wall break here. And one more. Plus frame for Lussu. He's gonna get a strike throw situation out of that. Again, the bait on the parry. Is that, I think that's the secret sauce. When you have a character that's just so good at mixing up, that's so good at high-lows, what is the solution from the opponent against that? Try to use your reversal. I mean, technically DPs are very strong against Ino as well. Like, a lot of stuff from Ino is a safe jump, so naturally that parry should be good, but if your opponent is reading you, I really love that transition, that evolution between the sets. In the first one, Lussu was able to just cover everything with the parry, and in the second one, Koi just, you know, already had figured it all out. We just play delayed options, bait the reversal parry, and go from there. Alright, Faust now. Where is Faust? He is in the not confident tier. So this could potentially be an option for Lussu to go into 6 points. But there are some RNG prospects as well to this matchup. If you're throwing good items, you could potentially try to, instead of having to having to work for the position to get into this mix-up. Speaking of which, it's really good on Koi that they are able to play this mix-up. The very basic standard, you know, get into your win condition and then loop it over and over. Really good that you have that in your pocket. And because of that, we already have dealt so much damage. 6p into an item throw and an OGG does it. This is, of course, very important round for Koi as well, being able to... Ooh, was that a cross-up? Decent amount of damage. Will basically give away the position, though. Does not end up mattering too much. Again, to the other side and the other side. So many cross-ups. If only we could make that tornado land first. Into. That's a pretty decently big hit as well. How is Lussu gonna defend here? The jump flash might have been a misinput. Ooh, that was great. The 5k. Sorry, the 2k actually catching Lussu, trying to go into the other side after the charge Kabare follow-up. Now opportunity to end it here. Ooh, tried to wait. That was a super PRC attempt, and even though that traded, that still was fairly good value for Koi, because Lussu was not able to take advantage of that, or was not able to react fast enough to that trade. All right, the set has devolved into 5-5. 2 more for players to take it, and now the randoms are starting to matter ever so much more. Koi is gonna get Potemkin for next one, which is in the confident tier. Potemkin, the de facto, or the de facto grappler of the game. And those command grabs, let me tell you that much, they are fairly good against reversal parries. So if Lussu wants to rely too much on those, potentially gonna be wide open here for punishment. And you don't even, like, if you get a command grab on Potemkin, you don't even need to know any kind of combo route. Just do your buster input and... Ooh, that might have been a buster input. That's one of the classic misinputs for a buster after all, the back mega fist. The other one is the praying, the 6p. Although the 6p misinput doesn't happen as much in Strive. Look at that big damage, one more. Patient, waiting for the opponent to engage. Engages with a 2 heavy here. Choose the gun. That's, even though that's plus on grounded hit, ain't gonna get enough plus frames to get there. Ooh, that's so tricky. Going to the other side with the use of the health Kabari. And drops the combo in the end. 2p is gonna be enough to tag into another sequence there. 2k 2d is the finishing touch. Nice jump timing, perfect there, landing straight into a punish against Koi. And now to the other side, should be plus, yeah. Usually around plus, at least +3. Too far to get a grab there. So Lussu is gonna score a big combo again into. This time there is a gap. Into lots of plus frames, trying to be sneaky. However, Lussu was mashing on that backdash, getting out of there in time. Plus frames once again. Koi is ready to take that throw. Tatamigashi coming from a really good angle. Attach it. Will be enough to actually take the round. Don't even need the mix-up. Both players definitely want this. This is gonna be a huge advantage for the end game. Actually able to deliver first hit on the tatami mat and then on the fast instant air as Yozan. But now in the soft embrace of our iron grappler. Life advantage is on Koi's side, so we could potentially play a little bit more defensive here. But just like that, that life advantage just evaporates. Just disappears. Although that should be enough. One grab is all that Koi needed to put an end to that comeback attempt. Another really important one coming out. if it's on the upper scale of this ranking tier list, Milia is the random, but where is it? Milia is in fact in the bottom, so might cause Lussu to, you know, go for a sigh of relief here. But even though it is rather low on the list, it is not a done deal. For Koi has won a game with a character from this tier, which was, I think, Ram? How did the Faust match go? Anyway. So Milia, another like rather difficult to control character, because Milia has a lot of different kind of movement options, multiple air dashes, a special that can modify her air trajectory. Not the most plug and play character, definitely when the Guilty Gear cast is considered. To the other side though, however, if you got the basic stuff down, you can do some pretty decent layer 1 mix-ups. Unless your opponent knows like a really good option select. For example, there is that FD, what's it called? Deflect Shield FD option select that a lot of people are using if they, you know the high level tech.
Duel 2. Let's rock.
Koi taking it easy this time. Trying to bait something, trying to find an angle where the opponent is not poking at us. The drive-by Yozan gets a really massive combo, and it's not over yet. Doubles it up into a maximum amount, about around 60%. Ooh, the jump heavy from Milia though. The Merit hitting for both sides, and also getting a little bit of value out of that, the physics of that tether on the tail end of it. Who gets caught by this? That was potentially a dangerous thing. Went for 2S. Is 2S less than 10 frames here? His reversal parry did successfully come out in time. Once again, starting with a 5 heavy, waiting for the burst as well. Great read by Koi. This might be exactly what they needed. Get a throw, set it up. This is a good knockdown. One of your better ones. I think throw and 2D generally considered the knockdowns where you can get a meaty disc. Ooh, drifting backwards doesn't matter. The character is fast. We go with the B&B still. Set it up. Not a meaty disc this time, however. The opponent doesn't want to move. Do it again. Cross up. Was it a cross up? I'm not even sure. Potentially the last move, and Koi takes the set with a character that was in the lower tiers of the power chart. Staying very tricky, staying very mobile. Opting to go for very safe kind of mix-ups. I mean, you can't really exactly parry that disc, can you? You can try to attempt to go for it, but if you play like Koi just did and don't really necessarily engage in the best available mix-ups, then you're not gonna commit very heavily into it either. And just like that, the set is gonna end 7-5 in Koi's favor. A great back and forth for sure. Right, we have the random matches covered for now, and we are going to proceed with the standard schedule. Took quite a lot of time to get here. 2 hours to get the first 3 matches out of the way. Yeah, that's quite something. All right, so Leif versus Worst next. Fingers crossed that the servers are done with the shenanigans for now. I would definitely love if we had smooth sailing from here on out. All right, Sin versus Faust. So even though I don't think either character has a definitive advantage in this matchup, it is still worth noting that Faust generally does not allow mid-range pokers to play the game that they're used to. For you have some pretty decently sized pokes yourself. You know, Far Slash, not necessarily as far-reaching as it was in the future, but especially too heavy does allow Faust to get a pretty decent advantage in certain poking situations against Sin. And then of course the more specialized moves such as like jump 2K, kind of hard to deal with. Yeah, we would have to react to that really fast. Items will always put a spin on the neutral RPS as well. And then of course the crawl, which makes a lot of Sin's high-profile pokes whiffs, such as like, you know, Far Slash, 6B, Big Driver. All of those can be crawled under. But I think the biggest problem for Faust in this matchup is certainly the risk-reward discrepancy. Sin Kisk, one of the best known stable damage characters, sometimes even a very, very high damage character, depending on the circumstances. If you have, you know, if you have the resources to spend, usually most of your combos are gonna build 50 meter, so Sin generally gets a super at the end of the combo, and that super can be RTL, which should theoretically break the wall from anywhere on the screen. Let's fix the names as well before this bout starts. Sorry, I've been so forgetful today. Oh, I guess the insurance item, the hammer. There is no beating the hammer, is there? If it's coming out, there is basically an unpassable wall of protection around Faust. If you engage, you're just gonna get counter hit as a combo breaker by that item. And a couple of other items are the same as well. Spinning into win in his first set, WorstGuy. Ooh, great whip finish there with the Far Slash. Worst goes immediately for a burst. We have the Afro available. Could throw it for some decent space control. And I think the Afro also makes Faust himself have an extended hurt box while it is active. It's generally like a pretty decent idea to get rid of it as fast as possible. It does cause guard crush as well to compensate, so if you are able to throw it. But speaking of being able to do anything, that was not the conundrum at all for Worst, as Leif is just putting on the pressure and potentially starting this round same as well with the basic corner route. Nice, saving the last stamina for the next screen. We're quite close to the 50 tension as well, which is ever so important for Sin. If you run out of stamina, you generally try to cover yourself with other resources, and tension is the priority number one after that. Ooh, got the combo breaker there with the use of 10-ton hammer. The fishing pole as well. This should break the wall, right? No, not quite close enough. Got a hammer? Yeah, the hammer is once again gonna act as a combo breaker. Got another one. So Leif, so far, as long as those hammers are on screen, not a whole lot of good options to get out of there. But here's my option. We got the DP, immediately return. Oh, nice, going under the Bar Slash. It's not only Faust who gets the low profile other stuff, because we have this. We have we have Elkant at home. The Kisk family staple. Beat Stun Dipper, beat Elkant. We got the low profiles. We got the corner carries with the use of RTL. We got it all. And Leif is gonna take the first one. Let me put this in rematch lobby, so we don't have to come back between the matches. And the cool thing for Sin, if you do get to the pressure distance against Faust, Faust just generally doesn't have like the best options to get you, get the opponent off of you. Like you have above average 5B to defend, sure, that's gonna be a great prospect for example, when you're trying to defend against hoof stomps, because it hits so high. But it's yeah, other than that, you don't have a lot of stuff. So once Sin gets in, it's usually gonna be barbecue time. Yeah, backdash is one option that you can try to play, which was what works. Ooh, nice. Get the hole in one with the use of the hammer. It's The hammer again, bouncing Life off the trumpet, which is always an item that is competition in terms of like which character, which player gets to pick it up first. The little guy from downtown, from somewhere other side of the screen, got triggered by who knows what. But at worst, is way more conscious about the LXIX. You do have to produce some sort of low-hitting hitbox, which this round has been 2P for the worst. Yeah, 2P definitely does it. A relatively far-range 2P at that. More like a 2S minus, if you will. Keeping the pressure alive. Nice backdash between the 2K. There was no follow-up for Leif that time. Maintaining the corner position and into the pressure. Good use of FD. Will be able to push Worst away from the 5D distance. Crossing up. Costly if it doesn't hit, but oh no! Slips on the banana peel. We are number one, and here comes the instant air dash from a really nice angle. Didn't get the massivest of the punishes, but being able to keep the pressure alive for Sin is basically everything. Still 2 stamina in the tank, so every hit is gonna be lethal here if Life gets a hit. So Worst has to be careful. Caught the backdash with far slash. That's one of the dream moves that can happen. Misses the combo. However, that was a shimmy. That was a bait. Happy little accident, but so does it happen for Worst that the 6 heavy is, or rather the punish afterwards, is not followed up properly. And one of the core features in fighting games, if the opponent drops, you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready to do the punish combo afterwards, even from a defensive position. In fact, that's one of the most important features that you can have for your character in fighting games. If your defensive pokes don't lead into anything, especially in a high damage game like Guilty Gear Strive, that's a big problem. Right, trading into the anti-air. Sinkisk, of course, a character that has some difficulties landing there. And they're landing his anti-airs because they hit very shallow. So one of the most shallow jump-ins in the game. I think it's a Kisk family curse as well, because Dizzy has the same and Kai sort of has the same. Not really, but kinda. Ended up punishing with the L count there against, was that a very premature jump D that went inactive for Worst. Missing the timing on the 2P, getting thrown for his troubles. But there's still a little bit of life left in the tank for Life. The little guy's in there, not activated of course. But this pressure sequence would have certainly pushed Life into activating the little guy, and there would have been a lot of mix-up options past that. Really great anti-air. Gonna go mix, try to push into the corner. Not the cleanest ender there. Hammer still active, so Life can't really attempt a DP there in that situation, I think. Another one. God, these hammers are doing big work for Worst. However, from the air dash, I think same curse kind of follows Faust if you don't use some of your deepest hitting buttons. Like if you don't use jump D, then your jump-ins are not gonna hit very deep either. And Life has been going under a lot of those with L-Cunt. Ooh, comes in from below, or rather from above. Life trying to initially avoid the... I wonder which move Life was trying to avoid, the teleport or the meteors. But nevertheless, a lot of stuff happening at once. You get a good item, such as the meteors. You follow it up with the basic day one mix-up. Left, right. Is he gonna teleport to the left side? Is he gonna teleport to the right side? You have to hold the right direction, and then the meteors come down and guard crush you. Certainly one of the better items that you could be throwing. Speaking of good items, however, look at that! Life goes for the big one, big two, playing himself away from the little guy distance. It's gonna activate soon, but better it activates during your block stun. Although you could argue that the reason why Life ended the sequence was because the little guy was coming partly. But kind of that had to happen. Again, even with the Afro, goes for the L-Count anti-air. It's working out so good. That move just does everything. And that's one of the reasons why Sin players love that move so much. Definitely one of the staples of Sin's neutral game plan. 6P, smartly able to block there, Worst. But what now? Are we going to be able to take advantage of that Afro? No, it naturally explodes and was definitely not what Worst wanted. Command grab from very, very far away from the opponent. Swallows a bomb here. Not necessarily one of the best items that you'd like to have on hand to be used immediately. Into the corner combo. Ooh! Happy little accident. Missed the 2k pickup, which theoretically would have caused the wall break as well. But we might as well double it up with a 2 heavy counter hit for a little bit of extra damage. Into the overhead. We got the combo. Into another one. Still a lot of stamina in the tank as well. You could do it the other way around as well. Save the stamina and spend the attention first if you have been blessed with a lot of good hits early. And now one stamina in the tank who definitely has the kill potential. 2k2d DP definitely would have been it. Leif evens it up 2-2. It looks like we're gonna have a decently fun and even match in our hands. Some of the most entertaining players as well in this set. The worst, of course, you know, I probably don't even have to talk about Faust players and how entertaining this character is generally to watch, but also worst is really good at different kinds of like item follow-ups and tends to make very entertaining plays using the items. And then of course we got Sin, very flashy kind of character, and Leif, very interesting player if you get to know his player stories, like how, you know, how they sort of fare during the match, how a lot of the times your hands are shaking but you're still trying to do your best, and despite everything just put yourself out there as often as possible in order to improve. But again, the Afro extending the hurt box a little bit more, making that jump heavy for Faust that bit more easier to connect, which might have been the difference maker there at the end of that round. 2P straight into the teleport, tried to charge up the fishing pole, which gives an ample opportunity to rev up the L-Cons, go under, and do 50% of the opponent's life bar. Oh yeah, Sin Kiss damage again, we do it again. We might have the juice into, no, not quite building the tension there. Very close though. With the Tyrant Barrel, that might have been a kill, because Faust is, I think, a 0-0 stamina character. So basically what that means is always taking as much damage as you could take. Guilty Gear has the gut system after all, which makes you theoretically take less damage the lower your health is currently. Ooh, we got the Guard Crush Hammer coming. Hot Potato still in there. Who gets to beat it last? Leif decides to take it easy and not try to kick it back to Worst's side, but that also gives Worst the opportunity to push the frame advantage. He was not in the explosion, and because the opponent was, we get an opportunity to just run in and press the offense afterwards. 3-2 for Worst. Faust is a character that is really all about adapting to the RNG and what's happening on the screen. You could, like, on a surface level, you could be like, you could say, you know, Faust is just an RNG character. You lose if you throw bad items and you win if you throw good items. But that's not really how it goes at all. It's more like like, especially in a long set like this, the variance is gonna even out. You're gonna throw the good items, you're gonna throw the bad items at some point. It's all going to happen. It's more about how do you follow up those items. What is your potential of performing in those situations after the said item is thrown, and now the item on screen is gonna be Little Guy. Hello! Not quite pushing into it, but definitely in the back of Leif's mind. And when the Little Guy is that close, you can't hit buttons on good conscience, even if the opponent is potentially minus. Lots of blast frames here. 50 tension in the tank. Leif looking to keep Worst in the corner. I like that. A lot of Faust players have this kind of timing meta game in the Hot Potato bomb thingy, where you're like trying to match your long-range strike timings for when they are throwing the bomb back at you, so that you kind of throw the bomb back instantly as they're still recovering from their previous move. Ooh, the hole-in-one actually ends up cleaving the L-Con from the ground. Worst really low health. Gotta make sure that you don't take any sort of attack here. But Leif is on 100 meter. Technically, ooh. The guts to poke through that with a bar slash. There was a lot of junk in the way. I think there was an afro as well as a little guy moving currently away from the screen. Burst here early. Gonna switch the positions and in fact get a little bit of a combo with that 10-ton hammer as a, or 10-ton weight as a starter. Right, still with that deep dash gets that that hoop stomp to hit, missing the next one, giving opportunity for Worst could go for a back throw, and now RNG just places. That's a lot of hammer. Look at that! What the fuck? If you hit a button into that, that's how much? That's probably like 30-40% of your life potentially that you're gonna be taking if you don't block that. And even if you do, that's an ample amount of chip damage. Holy shit! That was a nuclear bomb that Worst took out of the bag. It was violent. But I mean, that was also 100 tension super item super as well, right? So you're throwing quite a lot of items, so there's a decent chance that like a couple of those are gonna be useful and a couple of those are gonna present problems for the opponent immediately, such as, you know, one of the best at doing that, the hammer. To the other side. Ooh, teleported right in front of Leif. So we're gonna get a nice B&B combo. Drop them in the corner. We still have nice one-hit confirm. Ever so important, especially in Season 4, when a lot of your other routes nowadays are gonna spend a lot of stamina. Ooh, nice, we'll be able to block the bomb. And then the RC, is the burst gonna come out? No, Worst smartly deems that this situation would be really, really risky if we burst out. Worst did have 50 meter there, so there probably was a universe where you could see a burst, but wanted to take it safe this time. And with the use of that hammer, we'll be able to go into a thick throw, apply that afro, and here we go. One of your best win condition loops here. If you can maintain the afro, put it on again, and then does your opponent know the counterplay? Go again. Yep, you still have to have a response. DP definitely works, although I think Faust can make that into a safe jump as well. I forgot what the option is though. Oh, look at that! And the hammer! You always want the hammer. I don't think there's a single situation where you wouldn't want the hammer. Maybe if you're standing on full screen and your opponent is just looking to turtle, then the hammer ain't gonna do that much. But generally, it's one of the best items that you can get. Alright, gonna throw away from the corner, and the backdash is gonna avoid that jump D from Faust. Now, how are we gonna outplay this little guy? We aren't, because the hole-in-one is gonna send it right in there. You'll opt to use the burst here. A couple of hammers, which do lock Leif down in the end. We'll be able to avoid the afro throw. That was very important. Might have gotten just permanently locked down in the corner and checkmated. Nevertheless, that life disadvantage is quite a lot, and Leif won't be able to overcome it. Worst is slowly revving up. A momentum lead here, 5-2. Remember, this was 2-2 at one point. So now Worst probably has been able to flip some sort of gear in motion. Maybe even a guilty gear. Oh, nice. Got a small whiff punish. In fact, not even a small whiff punish, rather a large one. Trumpet has been thrown. All players trying to contest it. Yep, back walk, get it. And now we got a really nice strike throw situation there. That hole-in-one, that must have really decent size hitbox, because Worst has been hitting a lot of different stuff out of it. But now, Leif into a safe jump. Good on Worst, not trying to reversal out of it. Although, Worst hasn't been trying to reversal out of too many things so far, right? Has been opting to save the meter for other things. Nice, I think that was a very close to a clean hit as well, so most damage fished out of there. Looking for one more hit. Locked into an FD, so won't be able to get an interruption between that Elk one that couldn't really be cancelled into anything because the stamina gauge was empty. Swinging a miss with that too heavy, no response from the opponent this time. Switching sides, that's a small RPS win in its own. However, this hungry boy with the 2 stamina, able to corner carry you from corner to corner. 1 stamina left in the tank. What does Worst have? Full burst. Still working on that 50 meter. Ooh, nice snipe there. We're probably leaving the trumpet behind. Yeah, because we have an opportunity to kill here. The opponent tried to burst, perhaps trying to defend the trumpet at the feet of Leif. But Leif was like, nah, I don't even care about that. We're here to kill. But it's understandable. It's like probably one of the more common ways for you to try to, like, especially if you get hit just before or just after you threw your trumpet. It's really nasty if your opponent both gets hit on you and gets to utilize the trumpet as well, so that would be probably one of the more common places to burst as Faust. Nice, the instant overhead as the Afro has been attached. Lots of damage as well. Trying to rev up the beak driver to whiff punish the jump 2k landing frames. Not quite hitting it, but hitting this instant air dash. Ooh, that has to be RC'd, indeed, but followed up by Leif's DP. Let's see, do we got the full combo? Yes, we do. Yes, we indeed do. Good execution there, forcing Worst to consider the burst. GD did come out in the end. Ooh, we have stamina as well. This is gonna be big. Dropping at the very precipice. Wall break will be achieved, and I think if Leif doesn't go into a 5D, fully charged 5D here, which is the maximum cash out off the wall, Faust might be alive with certain chance. But with that fully revved up 5D, we'll be able to deal enough damage to go into the next round. Skipping a hop past the little guy, finally activates. Ooh, bouncing everywhere. I mean, in the end, that's not too bad of a outcome. Being able to defuse a lot of items in the same time and only taking a little bit of damage is often a trade-off that many characters are willing to take. Especially a high health character like Sin. I'm sure it feels weird to say, but yeah, Sin is actually pretty, like, higher than average health in the modern patches of Guilty Gear Strive. Nice check there, 2k to catch the Elk Hunt. Hasn't been able to do that too consistently as of recent. Pressing for that trumpet, picks it up. This might be hard unless Leif just gets a double jump out of the corner. Big value. Not only flipping the positions, but avoiding the horde as well. Bar slash just a little bit too short. Nice, we'll get a punish here. We have all resources as well. BMB combo, half of your life is gone, but drops the clean hit, unfortunately. Now Worst will have an opportunity to fight back sooner rather than later. And Leif has no choice but to release the burst here. With a frame trap from a blue wild assault. Will get the very, very dominant position. 6 points in an FT7 is quite the position to play from, especially if your opponent is at a rather low score. I mean, 3 points is not anything to scoff at, really. But usually when your opponent reaches 6, you would rather be a little bit closer, maybe at like 5 points or something, so that you only need to take a couple more. Now we need 4. And here's the trademark breather from Leif. Knows that this next one might be the last. So trying to collect himself, trying to assess the situation, maybe even put the opponent on ice. Unless I miscounted. It's always a question with because Leif likes to take the breathers at the very end of the set. I'm like, shit, did I miscount the score again? But yeah, I think it's a pretty common occurrence, so I'm pretty sure we are at 3-6 at the moment. So looking to even up the score at least. If nothing else, even if you can't reach the set win, making it competitive numbers is definitely something. It feels much better to go to sleep at the end of the evening telling yourself, yeah, I made it to 5-7 or I made it to 6-7, rather than shit, I went down like 2-7 or something like that. So now it's absolute do or die for Leif, and Leif has been performing really well. If you get a good opening, if the combo execution works out, and it can definitely work out. There have been really good execution games for Leif throughout his career in Guilty Gear Strive. We're just gonna make those happen. Oh, the tail end of the hit! I think the mix can uncombo between the hits, which will make it really tricky to play. However, the Horde with the combo breaker here, utilized by the opponent. A lot of Faust items are kind of like, what was that? Was that a hoop? Wait, hello? What happened there? Instant replay, please. Nice bounces towards the trumpet, causing Worst to actually burst here. Bursting into a life advantage. Bar slash will counter poke that Big Driver. Ooh, Big Driver. How I miss the glory days of Big Driver in Exert. Nobody would outpoke you with that bar slash in the past. My beloved, my Big Driver. Anyway, anti with the too heavy there. Fairly even for both players. However, Afro has been applied for Leif. Nice being able to bounce forward and avoid the potential explosion behind. Cool guys don't look at explosions, missing the too heavy unfortunately. So Worst will be able to take advantage of that. 50 meter super. What did we throw? Leif, unfortunately, Leif was able to pick up the trumpet there. It was a little hard to see what items were thrown. It's on fire. Oh, no punish though. Do we get a full combo? Do we have the burst here? Leif is on the last hit points. Does get the burst out at the last possible minute, but this is gonna be hard. The 2P does quite a lot of damage. Oh, that's gonna be a chip kill. Worst pulls the trigger. This serves two different purposes. If the opponent is aggressively dashing forward, doing L-con, stuff like that, it's gonna catch them. And if not, it's gonna deal multiple hits of special damage, which means there's a couple of instances of chip opportunities if the opponent is not holding FD. And in this situation, it's so hard to hit that FD because you don't want to be blocking. You know that if the opponent lands anything on you on block, it's probably over. So it's like a catch-22. You're screwed if you do FD, but you're also screwed if you don't FD. But that's the kind of aggressive game that Guilty Gear is. And from that 2-2 position, Worst was able to mount a decent amount of momentum. It's a tricky, interesting matchup to play for both characters, though. Faust is always a matchup that you need a slightly different kind of frame of mind, I feel like. Really a unique kind of character. Brings a lot of strange mechanics into standard fighting game stuff. Really good stuff though. Next one is gonna be our double Leo match. So first, MisterPanda gonna go up against the Wizard, and after that we're gonna see Spoon Leo, first time player on Bounty Hunters, go up against Hoplan. So really good matches coming up here. And MisterPanda is a very interesting specimen. When I watched MisterPanda's first match, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Really reminded me a lot of Radoon Leo, who is extremely entertaining player to watch as well. So very aggressive, very hard to condition. Presenting options to you that you just kind of have to, like, this is the kind of gameplay that you never feel like the Leo player is playing at your pace. You're always playing at the Leo player's pace. And depending on your player habits and your player tendencies, that might be a problem for you. I certainly am the kind of player who is like, who kind of wants to take it a little slower if possible and not necessarily get drawn into the opponent's game plan. I want to be the one setting up, like making the opponent play my game plan. And if it's just impossible to make the opponent negotiate with you, that can make it really tricky if you don't know how to approach matchups like that. So the favorite positions for these characters are clear. Leo wants to go in. I mean, Happy Chaos wants to go in as well, but would love to get things started from far away. And generally how Happy Chaos gets things started is try to make connection with one of your normals. That means the opponent is going to be in block stun. That means your gun is always going to home in on them. You don't have to take the gamble shot, which is like 1 out of 3. Keep them in block stun, shoot a couple of shots, get in close range, do your mix-up, hopefully find the hit, knock them down, recharge your resources, repeat. Leo wants to just get close to you and then bang on the jungle drums. It is of course like decent proposition to knock your opponent down as Leo. Often offers you an opportunity to go into your back turn stance, and back turn stance often is slightly better risk reward than just pressuring them with your standard stance. And of course, since the opponent here does not have any sort of reversals, not meterless ones, not even 100-meter ones, that means the back turn stance is gonna be that much more safe. If they can't reversal with anything, the fact that you can't block in your back turn doesn't really mean much. Like, they would have to build some distance between your characters. Happy Chaos would have to build a little bit of distance to be able to utilize the fact that you can't block while you are in that stance. Alright, we got both players in the lobby, ready to hop on. Wizard also a Happy Chaos player that is surprisingly, you know, solid and tight on the execution for their perceived skill level. And that's a really great feature to have for a technical character like Happy Chaos. A lot of like how your match flows is hidden behind those knockdowns. If you can get clean knockdowns on Happy Chaos, then there's probably not gonna be recharging on your resources either. And you're gonna soon dry out, you're gonna bleed out, and then you're gonna be really sad. Speaking of that, only 2 bullets left. Staying defensive, at least getting a little bit of that concentration back. And that ooh, interesting, the FRC combo there was probably not expecting to score the hit, but instead go into a mix-up. And now the interruption was so good. Now Wizard with 0 bullets. And Leo with the hard knockdown. There's a lot of different stuff that could happen here. And even with the 100, what are you gonna do as Happy Chaos? Maybe use YRC at best. But that's a very, very clear-cut, very obvious kind of RPS if you only have one option to defend yourself with. I mean, technically, I guess you have Deflect Shield as well and Burst, but you know, those are very, very same kind of tools. We'll lose the same things usually. Ooh, the shot! The reticle actually didn't latch there, which allowed MisterPanda to step dash forward, evade it even further, and deliver a strike. Back throw, though, very important. However, MisterPanda worried about the situation at all. Step dash forward, press a button, and I press a button again! Hello! There was a gap there! But of course there was, because Wizard was working with only one bullet. You can't afford to use too many in those kind of situations. You kind of have to play in, whatchamacallit, kind of like a energy saver mode. Kind of like being very frugal with the amount of resources that you have. And sometimes you might have to bluff your... Also, why is this name? Why do I have the wrong names here?
Mankind knew that they cannot change.
Let me fix... Sorry about this. So that was a score for MisterPanda. I've been doing this a lot recently. So put MisterPanda in there. There we go. That should be much better. And 1 point for not Wizard, but MisterPanda. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that was the sequence that that Wizard wanted to play earlier on block. The FRC into the Goomba Stomp, and then probably even more to follow up. There we go, extending the pressure. Very good defense on Wizard, even blocking that last tap overhead at the end. The 21 frame overhead that only, they say, the only young people can react to. Oh, but the Dark Souls mix up. Swinging from side to side with that roll. Where's the gunshot gonna land? Nobody knows. Maybe left, maybe right. Ooh, bouncing forward with the artist formerly known as Rekka 1. Very unsafe for sure. This is the head off the wall. And that allows Wizard to recover some of those very needed resources. That's a full clip. And because of the concentration as well, or the super concentration, the concentration is fixed for now. Ah, but the cross up at the end there. Very tricky. I'm not even sure if you had time to throw there. Because the situation was so scrambly. I think there was a SDP on an airborne opponent. So the frame advantage is probably a little different than usual. Alright, popping the mitigation once again. Going for the makeshift backdash with the use of the curse ball as well. Looking for bullets. We got bullets here. And now, go for the slump so we can recharge everything. In fact, we're probably not even gonna break this wall if we get the hit at this point. Able to squeeze a Berserker Slash in there. And that's what started the winning march for MisterPanda potentially. Tackling the... Oh, but went for the DP there at the end. The burst has been used as well. We are still in there. MisterPanda forcing a lot of stuff, but this is kind of what you have to do on Leo. Ooh, but we got the classic stuff. Staying at full screen range, opting to go for a short burst of... What should we call it? The flashes of the zoning type of Happy Chaos. The thing is, in modern patches, you can't do this for very long unless you pop the ADHD medication, aka the concentration super, because you're gonna run out of concentration really, really fast. Nevertheless, if your opponent is really low health and not willing to invest FD into the sequence, and or not willing to try to dash block forward to improve their position, you could potentially hold that position as somebody who's just shooting from the other side of the screen at the opponent and slowly chipping away at their life bar. Ooh, but from the new massive pushback of the turbulence, MisterPanda pouncing forward with the back turn S, and even more, Berserker Slash comes out at a timing where Wizard was not ready to throw that. I think so far this set, Wizard hasn't been successfully throwing any of the Berserk. Oh, trying to throw there again, but that time the throw was not the right option to do for Leo 2D. Takes him airborne and now slicing through with the weapon axe, breaking the wall as well. Yeah, the pace of the game is actually turbo fast. If you can't keep up with a Leo that plays this fast, you could be in trouble. Now, I think the the conundrum to break for Wizard is how are we gonna stop Leo? How are we gonna find the timings for our buttons to stop the gorilla from coming in? Nice, was able to take off the gun as well. With the gun active, it's basically the same as drop the combo there. Or maybe there was a burst bait. Maybe expecting the burst to come back a little bit sooner. Nice whip punish. Got a couple of bullets. Pop the medication. Ooh, okay. It was still good. It was still good. It was really dangerous looking because the weapon X for Leo moves forward so fast, but eventually it's gonna lose its input frames. And Wizard was basically at a perfect spacing there. And again, taking the backdashes. Critical latches finally. So we can go for a strike throw. Ooh, that was a lot of respect there. Maybe waiting for an SDP. Does that come out this time? Only one bullet in the chamber. But with the positive bonus, we could potentially make a lot of stuff happen for 50... It's kind of same kind of conundrum as with Sin. If you run out of your primary resource, which is your auxiliary or unique resource, you can kind of substitute tension for that in certain cases. Close slash to the other side, doesn't matter, we can still get another one. Looking for the last hit, what's it gonna come from? Yeah, notices that the super is way too far, has to RC it, but at that point, will basically put himself in a position where you would both have to work really hard to get back in the guard of Happy Chaos, but also because you just used all of your meter, you're open to cheap damage. Those steady aim shots are basically just free to land on you for chip damage at that point. I tried to go for something that resembled a safe jump, but was not in the end. Oh, good patience for MisterPanda, waiting for the burst on the first big counter hit, and then breaking the wall as well. YRC is available, potentially. Here it comes. Yep, better sooner than later. Bets out the reversal. Nice, and gets a burst, punish there between the hits as well. I guess you could wait for the last hit as well if you wanted, because MisterPanda didn't have 50 tension yet. And now... Oh, the double bait. Shimmying back and forth, waiting for the DP to come out, and then so sure that MisterPanda is gonna unleash the burst as well. I tap them, and because we are Happy Chaos, we can also use bullets instead of tension if we tap the 5D. Very great feature for sure. Now, with the step dashes, no reaction from... Oh, but it's MisterPanda who does the same stuff this time. Both players have been extremely vigilant, baiting those bursts from the opponent. Because I mean, both of the players have been bursting very early into the opponent's combos as well. And I guess the earlier, the less you delay your burst, the more predictable it is gonna be. Because it's kind of like human reaction times that you would burst during, like, maybe somewhere after the first hit or the second hit. So those are generally like the most common burst baits for hard. Oh, nice! Even that was too close. Threw MisterPanda out in the 5D, and now what's the new scapegoat is still inhibiting your movement, is it not? Right? Got a shot in there between the back turn D. Pop the medication. Ooh, but took a risk there, jumping at the opponent with your gun out. But there we go, there's a throw on the Berserker Slash. I think first of the set, we are gonna need those, lest the opponent is just gonna keep resetting into a cross-up after cross-up. And I mean, it's not just the threat of the cross-up, but also it's really hard to, like, or rather, it's both a cross-up and a reset at the same time. So it's not good enough that you protect yourself against it, but Leo can go again if you don't present the true punish option there. From below, into, oh, patient, so patient. Both of these players are hoping to take the curse and not break the wall just yet. Probably go for the save. No, this time we are gonna load up the gun. The Deus Ex Machina, after all, will take care of all of your bullets, will fill the gun. Both of the supers have a feature such as that. Of course, the super concentration is very self-explanatory. Will fill up your concentration gauge and make it recover really fast. Oh no! What are you gonna do in the back turn stance? It takes a little bit to disengage, but at the same time, if you do, you might get punished there. If you don't, you're still gonna be unable to block. I guess you could forever keep sort of deflecting the shots with use of your back turn D, right? Ooh, again, a burst on the first counter hit. MisterPanda knows how the game goes. Very decent amount of corner carry, and will be able to break from basically past half screen away. I think Leo has gained a lot of potential for that kind of corner carry combos as in the newest patches. There's a lot of like momentum transferring from your dash forwards, especially in the back turn stance now. You'll be able to move forward great amounts if you make micro dashes between those normals. Keep linking them. Right, wall is gonna go down from this distance, definitely picking up the Deus Ex Machina, and I think Wizard was quite low on bullets as well, so this will fix all sorts of problems for us. And that's just, ooh! Okay, with the use of 100 meter, we'll be able to cancel that and go into a jump scare surprise. Is there a DP? Knock knock. 2P? Knock knock. Anybody home? SDP? S flash kick, are you home? MisterPanda is like, nah. SDP is out right now. It's not available. We got mash buttons though. Alright, with that instant airless taco kick, getting a starter, forcing the burst from MisterPanda. But MisterPanda again! The wake up buttons are home! And when you are a character that has one of the best flash kicks, or rather one of the best DPs in the game in the form of a flash kick, you can sometimes represent the immediate buttons at wake up when your opponent is waiting for that flash kick to come. You would have to take at least like a 10-second, or insert like a 10-second gap before you go for your own strike in order to always bait it. That 10 frames is enough time to even press a close slash, which MisterPanda did there earlier. Alright, and we got the juice to break it as well. Looking good so far. Life situation is equalized. Going into close slash, the slow hesitation there in case that the opponent got counter hit, or rather was gonna use the YRC immediately. Waiting for the burst. Burst never comes. Instead, we got the flash kick. And now good blocks on the overhead. Oh, and not on the second one. It is around 20 frames after all, and you can't always be vigilant enough to block it on reaction. MisterPanda is building a little bit of momentum here. 2-game lead. And I do remember Wizard saying that she's usually like not super good at longer sets, whereas like she gets very fatigued towards the end of a longer set like an FT7. That is gonna be extrapolated by a character, or rather a player that is really hard to play against like that. Or like who you have to think about so many things. If the opponent is just very aggressive and always ready to RPS with you, it can be hard to, like, it can feel like you never are able to equalize or rather stabilize the situation. And that causes an extra amount of mental fatigue. So I wonder if Wizard actually has the mental fatigue to, you know, get through this FT7, this slugfest. And here's another option being represented by MisterPanda, actually for the first time, getting a successful burst out here. Opponent is cursed. We have so many resources active now. Opting to just hold the FD block. Oh, there we go. There's the bait again. And there's the second bait. However, it's not a done deal yet. The reticle didn't home. To the other side. But there's the parry stance, it's still active. He's going, and then the shot finds its mark. That was on an uncursed opponent as well, so it takes extra amount of time for the reticle to find its mark. But I guess, you know, when the opponent is under you like that, it's not easy to like dash forward. And indeed, I think like jumping around is usually, or backdashing is one of the best ways of trying to outsmart the reticle. And in that situation, it was not very feasible to sort of figure out which way is the backdash when the opponent is crossing you up. Nice read here. We got the airborne close slash read. Go for the super. Good, also not quite gonna be a kill. Never mind. Like I said, he always kills. He freaking always kills. He always does. Look at this super. Look at this Deus Ex Machina. So much damage. Like I said. Told you. Always kills. Right, with the standard pressure, close slash, always plus. 2S, always, also plus for Leo. Right? It's plus in Guilty Gear Strive as well. Or am I dumb? Is it only only an Exer thing? With Schlack through the wall, but this is a soft knockdown, so Wizard will have an opportunity to swing those big buttons. However, with punish with the use of the super, that 2K surely is gonna be dead when the opponent commits that hard. Oh, the reticle was just completely off that time. It's very fast kind of movement that Leo can make during that back turn stance, so it's even the forward dash will probably pose a really tricky, you know, conundrum for the reticle to try to latch on you. Nice delay there. Didn't go in immediately, waiting for the opponent to miss their throw, and then we strike. MisterPanda looking really good here. Just not really. It's completely impossible to negotiate with. And I say that with all the admiration and appreciation in the world. Because like, it's really hard to be steadfast. It's really hard to be headstrong like that. It's really hard to not get sort of affected, conditioned by the opponent. Right, with a cool combo. Unfortunately, we don't have quite enough for Deus Ex Machina this time. We do now. However, we go into the FRC, the cool FRC Goopa Stomp mix-up. Nice, was able to 6P into the right direction this time. Takes out the gun just in the nick of time. And the shot lands exactly on MisterPanda's person. Jumping over. Please latch, says MisterPanda. I would like to shoot you, if possible. Again, the same kind of conundrum. If you wait for potentially the 10 frames where the flash kick might be coming out, the shimmy, get the flash kick out like this. Close enough to the wall, this should break it. Bam, bam, bam. In a decent position. Situation is equalized. Caught the backdash with the close slash. So that's gonna mean we are going to the damage zone. And now it's gonna be kind of tough. Gold burst. Oh, that was a gold burst. If it was a blue one, it would have reached Wizard, but the gold one, unfortunately, is gonna whiff all in its lonesome. Wizard still, sorry, MisterPanda still not really giving up on this. And in fact, that's gonna kill. The iron will of MisterPanda, never giving up, always looking to steal it. Definitely the kind of stuff that you are gonna see from Leo players. This is a character for exactly like that. The life is only an aesthetic thing. When you have the pressure, when you have the momentum, it is everything. Drifting into a punish. What are we setting up with? One bullet in the chamber, could be tough. Once again, having difficulties with that reticle. Guard crush, lots of plus frames out of that. And his pressure never seems to end. That's a big counter hit. That was, in fact, was that with full risk blinking? I thought I saw from my peripheral vision the emergency exclamation point on Wizard's guard gauge. Which means you are thoroughly fucked up if the opponent lands anything on you. That was so much damage potential for MisterPanda. But I mean, that kind of situation is prone to happen. MisterPanda used a lot of resources for that pressure as well. There was the Blitzschlag to reset the pressure, and then there was the Wild Assault as well. And that's basically like 2 full pressure strings worth of stuff on block. Yeah, that's gonna add up slowly. Waiting for the burst, never to come out. YRC critical finally latches. Immediate burst. MisterPanda really wants this. Not wanting to take any sort of, oh my goodness, able to put out the gun just in time. Or actually, didn't actually have to put out the gun because the SDP just whiffed there, I think. Chip damage, multi-hit there. Was able to survive the first hit of the S flash kick, but the second one does the deed. Nice, get a shot in, and that means a quick wall break. Was it the bonus? Only 2 bullets though. Would love to get some sort of hit here to recharge resources. There is always an option to just shoot from the other side of the screen and unleash like Deus Ex Machina, but I think the super concentration is actually better for that. Meaning, oh, nice moves! Ah, but the second flash kick had already started to charge up the next one. Deep dash, Goomba stomp, waiting for the burst. Burst doesn't come out. Good RPS for MisterPanda. Ah, but he eventually has to come out if you want to fight it. There was a universe where MisterPanda saves the burst though. For he was sitting on a life lead, or sorry, a round lead. But now, what he's done is done. And it doesn't in fact matter at all. We forget everything that has happened in the past and we maul. We maul in this current day and age. This moment. What, huh? Wait, was that a... I think that was a deflect shield attempt there for Wizard. Which, because of the cross-through, turned into a blue Wild Assault. And that's gonna seal the deal. MisterPanda revving up the engine, purring louder and louder the deeper into the set we proceeded. The onslaught, the mercilessness, the unyielding kind of gameplay that is so scared, so scary to face. We'll get the set for MisterPanda 7-3 this time. We have one more Leo to go here. And this is gonna be an interesting one, because Spoon Leo is gonna be showing up on Bounty Hunters for the first time. Rather high-ranked Leo as well. So I'm personally gonna be waiting with bated breath to see how this is gonna go. And it's not just a new interesting player that we have here. We also have Hoplan, and look at that crazy picture. I didn't even know that Nagoryuki has that kind of animation. Is that with Blood Rage active? That looks hella cool. So interesting thing is that Hoplan has actually been practicing a little bit of Sin as of recent. I'm not sure how the split is between the characters that Hoplan has been playing. Like, have we the past week have we been playing more Sin, or have we been playing more Nagoryuki for the preparation of this matchup? I guess nobody knows, but I mean, Hoplan is a pretty spontaneous player as well, so I would imagine that he's not gonna forget how to play his trademark character that easily, right? And here he comes. Steps in. One of the favorite personalities of the Finnish FGC. And then one of the toughest opponents that Hoplan has ever had to face on bounty hunters before. Spoon, Leo. Let me fix the names as well.
Duel 1.
Ooh, nobody saw that. Right, and where's that? Whoa, 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 whoa. The far slash actually didn't have enough disjoint that time. Opening up with a really early S flash kick. Showing that, yes, in fact, I am willing to do these things. I am willing to try to interrupt you from even very far away. And here we go. Leo Whitefang, pressure. FD was good, but it's sometimes, it's one thing to push the opponent away, and it's another thing to take advantage of that pushback. The whiff that you make the opponent do as a result of pushing them so far. And now from a close slash into the 20-frame reaction test. Many have fallen to such at the end of their life bar. Even yours truly. Even every single time. Never blocked a 5D in my life. Oh yeah. Ooh, the RPS, the third parry in a row. Yeah, this is some exert kind of shit. You don't see this many back turn Ds usually in Guilty Gear Strive, do you? Partly because like a lot of your strikes are just so strong in this kind of close range distance. Because like of course the camera in Guilty Gear Strive doesn't really zoom out as much as in many other fighting games, so you're always in a really good striking distance. But now Hoplan's time to make stuff happen. Oh, committed into something. So this weapon X is gonna cleave its way through. Hoplan still has 100. Using the clone Fukyo, lots of blood in order to phase through. Is that gonna pop? Yes. Do we have the punish? Yes, as well. Small one, but I mean at that point, the blood rage damage is gonna deal enough in order to put Hoplan at 0 hit points.
Duel 1.
Right, with the blood burn very early into this set. Nice RPS Spoon actually picking the right option and step dashing at Hoplan as they were doing the back Fukyo. Important slices here. That small amount of life, sorry, the blood flowing back is potentially gonna be an extra Fukyo or two for you to move your, or adjust your position here. Spoon on their lat hit point. How are we gonna get that? We don't have any sort of reversals here. And Spoon just turns off the heat and doesn't let Hoplan press any buttons. All of that blood that was coming back after the sequence cannot be utilized, unfortunately. To be able to Beyblade, you first have to go back to neutral, as they say. Quick little tap on the SDP here, checking for reversal supers. None to be found. Gets the burst from Hoplan as well. Look at that, the micro dashes up the back there. That's so cool. Wow, you get so much more corner carry than you were used to. I think this is a safe jab if done correctly. And Hoplan was indeed believing in the safe jab. There are circumstances where you know, see that or like expect that they are gonna indeed do that safe jab, but then you're like, all right, let's see you do it perfectly. So if you have a really fast like 9-frame DP or 9-frame reversal super, you might actually just test them and check if they can actually do it successfully. Again, really keen sense here on the burst hunting capabilities of Spoon. It's gonna be a big combo and a wall. But Hoplan still relatively low on the blood. Wow, that was a reversal and a half. In the middle of step dash here, so won't be able to cancel to back turn D. If you were at neutral, this would be a trivial back turn D to parry that. Nice, Hoplan is available in terms of, reaction times. Would be out of there. We are plus, yeah. At this point, Hoplan kinda has to spend a lot of resources in order to not have to play the defensive game, for we only have a sliver of life left, but also means that the SDP, one touch, one grace of that is gonna be lethal. Oh, that's a big frame trap. it's a nasty situation as well. You would be fine taking that turbulence on block in previous patch. Jesus, that's so much damage. There was a lot of risk on top of that, right? Spoon is not here to fuck around, is he? Is he? He's gonna take the burst again. I mean, the burst kind of had to happen unless you want to go down with it and become a Garfield. Spoon actually just mauling forward, cleaving, slaying, murdering, and every other sort of violent word that you can think of. Hoplan spending the burst aggressively in order to try to hold the opponent in the corner, but the wild beast that Spoon is doesn't want to be contained. Backdash got caught, not a big punish this time. Hoplan waiting for the burst, not to be seen. For Spoon has decided that this is way too risky of a spot to try to go for a hero burst. Just save it for the next round and go from there. There we go. First actual clean DP read here for Hoplan. The double Fukyo, go for it again. Wham bam. Are we gonna pop? Or nope, just dropping them in the corner. Safe chunk. Into more safe pressure. Back Fukyo in order to take you to a distance where hopefully the SDP is not gonna grace you. Nice hit with the overhead. It's always a guess, like, even though it is around something like 30 frame startup overhead, the ooh, I think neutral. Back turn D, yep. This is what happens if the Leo is not revving up any moves. Always will be able to go for that frame 1 back turn flip there. Past Super Flash, right? Ooh, slick moves here. Back Fukyo, forward Fukyo, throw, OTG. Ooh, there's a lot of blood going into the OTG. Backdash out of there. Not letting Hoplan get an easy refund on the blood bar by any means. Might be out of the sky, and now waiting for the potential reversal. Very high on blood. But that also means that we deal a lot of chip damage with our heavy strikes. Yeah, look at that. It's a pretty decent amount. Oh, but queued up the burst immediately. And now Hoplan will have to solve this. The quest for getting out of the back turn pressure, it's not boding too well. FD is pushing Spoon far away, but then it takes only a couple of frames for you to dash forward and cover that distance again. Again, during which the opponent would have to commit to a strike of some sort. Right, from the 6-speed counter hit, decent amount of damage, and the corner position. Wow! Again, the RPS reach for Spoon during those back Fukyos have been immaculate, be it just advancing on Hoplan or swinging a far range button that can actually catch Hoplan out of the Fukyo. Crazy stuff. Are you telling me that we actually know the matchup? Yo, at this skill level? I would hope so, but goddamn. Ooh, Hoplan actually getting a successful YRC out there still in the end, and the deflect shield keeping the opponent just far enough away for Hoplan to get the far slash. But now it's not a done deal. Hoplan a little bit closer to that 50 meter, and the positive bonus, is that gonna do anything? Back turn D, yep, knows that that's gonna be a kill, however, goes for the throw a little too early. And even if it was delayed enough, I wonder if it would have beat the 2P from Spoon. If that was a perfect reversal 2P, no shot. Minus here on the Wild Assault, as Ishiwatari originally intended. Not the abomination that the White Wild Assault was in Season 3. Going forward, oh, his combos are gonna do so much damage. Hoplan is quite high on the blood meter. Ooh, that was interesting. Frame kill on the back turn D. Oh my god, and frame or option selecting. If the back turn heavy, if the back turn overhead is missed, go straight into the back turn D, the parry move. God damn. I've never seen a Leo player use back turn D quite like this. Oh, that's gonna be a punish, right? No! Tried to go for a micro dash forward in order to get a close slash there. But that was maybe a little too much. There we go, getting another bite. But I mean, bites are only so much damage They do reset your blood situation though. Hoplan staying patient, and the bar slash finds its mark. We have another 50. Unfortunately, won't be able to get a wall break here. Sorry, a wall stick here. There we go, staying active. 2S. If the opponent tries to dash forward, especially with Leo's buttons, Leo doesn't really reach quite as far as, you know, high blood Nagoriyuki. So they would usually have to combine it with the use of step dash. Ooh, go for another one. Do you know how to deal with this tool? The command grab. Well, you missed it twice, and you missed an opportunity to take this round. God, Spoon is so strong. Where can Hoplan find opportunities to flip this around? Ooh, big counter hit. And Spoon is still quite far away from that burst. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. We do more? We kill? Oh, we kill for sure. For real, Hoplan saw the opportunity. I was like, yeah, I guess I would super here. But Hoplan is like, are you freaking kidding me? More 6 heavy. And I think, I guess that double 6 heavy just does way more damage than the super. Does it? Ooh, a successful blood burst. This is gonna... Oh, Hoplan is buffering. Are you twitching? Yeah. Spoon is playing it very safely. There's like literally no reason to advance on a blood pop Nagoriyuki. They're gonna be at 0 health anyway, and you're risking getting baseball batted out of the round. Now, this reversal super is helping with Hoplan's blood situation, potentially allowing to go for a couple of special moves. However, we haven't seen I was about to say, we haven't seen that many special moves overall. I think Spoon has just been really active playing against those, especially with that SDP. Because a lot of times there are gaps between special to special cancels. And I mean, you can't very easily produce, you know, lows either unless you're canceling into specifically Beyblade. And you can't cancel from Beyblade to Beyblade. Right, getting a very good trade here, and Hoplan finds the successful combo from the trade. That is a great ability to have. Great presence of mind. And now, yes, indeed, we throw them into the corner. Hoplan in a really good mauling position. However, once again, the favorite tool to get out of there. Flash kick of the S kind. Contended to be one of the better reversals. Oh my god, I can't see. Where is Leo? Is he left? Is he right? I don't freaking know. But Spoon is somewhere, existing somewhere in the screen. Maybe in Schrödinger's back turn state. Maybe it was both in left and right at the same time. Who knows? Did you see? I didn't. I closed my eyes because I was so scared for Hoplan. To the other side once again. It's so dirty. It's kind of like a frame kill when you dash past like that. Trying to use as much FD as possible. This is plus on block, so we'll be able to keep up the pressure. And this will be the first set point position for Spoon. Spoon has been so dominant. Hoplan has been trying his best. Ooh, got the punish, but no follow through. The 2D pounces forward from so far away. The shimmy into a big punish, into a stagger, or rather a tumble, and still gets the wall break with the super. Gold burst is gonna be safe, but that's a lot of resources gone that Hoplan ain't gonna be able to use in the next round. Is there gonna be a next round though? Here comes the chip opportunity. Hoplan holding onto that FD smartly. Mask on. Immediate, oh, and frame trap into the turbulence. Go big or go home. And even if it's blocked, who cares? It's gonna push you so far away in this patch that it's in fact like it's an RPS situation. You are so minus, but it does not matter. What's the opponent gonna do? You're half screen from back turn Leo, and then back turn Leo has good buttons such as, or mainly consisting of back turn S. Combined with dash forward or back dash. Ain't the easiest situation to deal with at all. But I mean, we didn't even get to play that RPS very much. For Spoon just managed to land all of those turbulence frame traps in the first place. Goddamn, he is strong. Definitely one of the toughest opponents that Hoplan has ever had to face. But at least we did not go down without taking one. That would put us at the last match of this week's Bounty Hunters. Get ready for some Asuka gaming. It is zikradvd coming back for another one. Actually can't remember what kind of stuff Zikra likes to do. So there are so many things, so many ways that you could tackle this character, Asuka. Although I guess many high-level Asuka players will still like opt to play rather similarly in the season 3 style. Which usually revolves around like trying to get as much value out of test case 3 as possible. Now Talla with Bridget definitely has the reach to try to poke into the cubes. Or better yet, perhaps reach even the wizard himself. Does also have some fast forward moving tools such as Kickstart My Heart, but also Roger Super. Which does go through basically everything immediately if Asuka tries to cast something with even a little bit of a recovery time. What was Zikra's previous match on Bounty Hunters, by the way? I forgot. Oh yeah, it was that match against Hyrule Bedman. So that's the only game that Zikra has played so far. Definitely a tough match, tough opponent to face. But how is it gonna go against a completely different opponent, Talla Bridget? All right, last one for the road. What time does AVT start, by the way? It's well, they're gonna play Under Night first anyway, so we're gonna. am I gonna be the guy who says that? am I gonna be the one who says like, yeah, we have time to catch the good games. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of personal bias because I'm playing Strive and Grand Blue at the moment, and not so much of Under Night. But anyway, we're still on this game Guilty Gear Strive here. Let's forget about Arc World Tour for now, for we have one more heated match to play. Zikra versus Talla in the last match of Bounty Hunters of the evening.
Change society. So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blame.
And this character Asuka, let me tell you, such a cool character. If I was somebody who did not enjoy standard characters so damn much, I would be playing my ass off picking this character, learning the stuff, but alas, I am but a simple player. I enjoy my Shotos, I enjoy my standard kind of stuff. That's why we play Sin. And we can appreciate the really technical gameplay here, showcased by other players. I started very passively, waiting for an opportunity to unleash that Screamer. Good spells here. Also that overhead spell if we want to try to mix the opponent up. There we go. And switching to the test case 3, getting one of the most important combo pieces out. which is the what's the game called again? The why do I every single Asuka match I cast I forget the name of that move at the start. It's gonna come back to us at some point, but now mana broken Zikra with very little options left, and Talla and Bridget will be able to close the gap very fast. I should probably open the spell list of Asuka on the side. Honestly, every time you cast Asuka, you should have the spell list open on the side. To be perfectly honest. Up goes the mana shield once again. Infinite amount of dopamine and serotonin, and every single happy hormone unleashed at once. The opponent is taking the most massive amount of damage you could ever imagine on the next hit. Who does not love that?
Mankind knew that they
It's of course the arpeggio. Why is it so hard to remember the name of arpeggio? Do we need like a starting pet name for that? A for arpeggio for its A-class spell. Right, a lot of basic cubes in hand. Of course, that's kind of like the starting point, the most layer 1 of Asuka gameplays to have the standard cubes ready to go. Because it's like the opponent knows the standard cubes are gonna come, but at what timing and which type, or from which angle. So Zikra teleporting into a very high angle there, unleashing the green one, and now we are at a really nice place to unleash spell after spell, because we are buffed as well. We got that meta golem activated, which or what do they call it? I'm forgetting all the weird terminology that the community calls Asuka spells and combinations. Anyway, switching once again into the best case 3 as soon as possible, because all of your best spells are gonna be there. The best buffs, the best mix-up tools. Technically, I guess the best pressure tools, maybe? Shuffling the deck quite a bit. I'm surprised the Zikra was throughout all that sequence able to maintain relatively high life as well. Although I think all the damage already done has been self-inflicted, as Zikra has been trying to recover as much mana as possible. Now in test case 1 once again. Pop goes the shield. Talla in a really good position. Zikra only deflect shield in their aid, or perhaps just iron patience, waiting for an opportunity to unleash a 2D or another Abare attack. Who needs that mana? When you need one more hit, and you know the opponent plays from very far away as well, so I guess you could sometimes sneak in a 2D, stuff like that in there. Right, activating buffs. We do have an option to fill the hand again with the last spell here. This domino-looking spell will basically refund you or fill your casting slots with the 4 spells from your current test case. This time, it's going to be test case 1 spells, standard stuff. Opting to play the test case 1 a little bit more this time. Acceleration staff down, so all of the cubes are even more difficult to poke into. Tried to be a little sneaky here, start with the DP. However, Talla with the backwalk was delaying her options enough so that none of those were in harm's way. 6B tried to go out against rolling movement. There are, of course, options for Bridget to, when you have your yo-yo set, you can avoid the rolling movement a little earlier, land, and then catch them low. If they're trying to, ooh, interesting, teleport straight into the kickstart my heart, making Talla to actually overshoot the follow-up. And now a couple more frames for Talla to play basically a risk, I don't want to say risk-free, but definitely a high-risk empowered state when the opponent can't cast spells and is also taking extra damage due to that mana break. Got all the spells back, a couple of bit shifts, which are gonna level up over time, so more Zikra waits, the more frame advantage we're gonna be able to derive out of those. But if we run out of mana, it could be all over, and we do! Are we gonna rely on the burst? Accepting our fate for now. And it's gonna come another mix-up. Safe jump into a throw. Good guess on Zikra. I think even if you run out of health, you can still use the more powerful mana recharge, right? So there's I guess a small consolation prize if you reach that point. Lots of utility in hand. We'll be able to draw a couple of extra normal standard cubes. Teleports next to Talla and unleashes the rainbow cube. I forgot if there was some sort of coverage there in order to safely teleport there, but generally that kind of sequence would be quite risky overall.
Duel 1.
Of course, nothing is risky if your opponent never reacts, right? And we're of course not chasing any sort of ghosts over here. We're playing strictly our opponent and adjusting to what they can or cannot do. All right, one of the best cubes in hand here. Sending the green one, comboing into the rainbow cube, and now we have... This is from test case 2, right? Was able to get the bouncy bounce staff. It's interesting how Zikra is actually cruising through a lot of different test cases here. Currently in the most powerful one in the 3. And we have the black hole staff active as well. Teleports behind for a quick little cross-up. Very Faust-like. Take out meteors and then teleport to the other side. Same kind of idea. Dropping the meteor for an overhead. Sending a couple of spells. This will allow us to cycle our deck. Test case, is this test case 2 at the moment? Which is basically the test case that has the most high-low options, as well as a couple of really strange ways to, rather strange stats to modify the gravity of the characters, either increasing it or decreasing it. Alright, was able to immediately draw the good spells. Draws also triple teleport, but wasn't even phased about it. Just cycling through these cards as fast as possible. We do have some good ones once again, but the problem is we don't have any immediate attack spells at the moment. The arpeggio in the right side would be great to unleash, and indeed we'll be able to do so. And then shuffle, consume all the spells or the buffs, and then draw some good ones. Dangerous position here. The mana shield is gone, and Talla potentially one poke away from the kill. Nice. Goes for a little burst of rolling movement here, canceling immediately into the jump. Is that jump heavy? I think that's a jump heavy to go over the 2D of Zikra's. And that was basically the only fireball, the only projectile that Zikra could throw in that situation, that 2D, the projectile that advances on the wall, because he was mana broken. And in fact, a lot of the time when you are low in mana, that's the only kind of long-range poke that you can toss at the opponent. Right, cycling, teleporting straight into the rolling movement strike. It's a pretty good prediction from Talla there. Into the basic RPS situation, lands an overhead. And because of that, we got to the ultimate prize, the mana pop once again. Basically, when you're playing this matchup, it's your win condition, right? You're trying to put Asuka in a situation where they don't have a burst left, probably don't have tension left either to use a YRC. But they are also mana broken. That's when you actually get to go to town. Ooh, with nothing in hand, we'll actually be able to use, I think it was Far Slash. that was able to catch Talla momentarily out of that rolling movement. But now, oh gosh, that's so much damage. And Zikra still will have to wait like 4-ish seconds to get that mana shield back. Saving themselves with the PRC, Roger is coming, 6P is missed, which allows Talla to once again not necessarily get a punish, but starting that pressure once again. Very, very powerful. Talla once again in the lead, 3-2, but surprisingly even so far. There's been, like, Zikra has had very high highs and very low lows, which is, I feel like, very Asuka kind of thing to happen. Sometimes you draw the nuts, and sometimes your hand is bricked. I mean, there are, of course, states in between, but we tend to remember the highs and lows the most. And once again, in this conundrum where we need to repel this Bridget character away somehow before we mana pop. Good whiff punish there, and that seals Zikra's fate. Running out of mana, and now taking massive damage. That's actually gonna be a kill with a very basic APC into kickstart combo. Basically reaves half of Zikra's life. Ooh, but speaking of the highs though, in test case 2 at the moment, venturing a little too close to the sun. Bridget is a DP character after all. Ooh, the Roger is gonna go. Ooh, nice! Good to stop the kickstart with the Terra Metron. Even though you are airborne, it's basically gonna come out slightly below where your character is currently. So very, very huge kind of area control move that can stop like kickstart my heart or even the rolling movement very easily. I mean, Asuka has a lot of other spells like that as well, such as the Screamer that Zikra just used. Nice. Actually, notices that kickstart cancel was way too close and actually punishable. Very bricked hand here that Zikra has to work with. None of these casts are gonna lead into any sort of offensive advantage. In fact, they are the kind of cards that you would like to cast after you already have the opponent locked down. Bit shift, only level 1, only one projectile coming out. However, teleporting into a nice position. Arpeggio, hopefully, well, buying a little bit of time for Zikra to shuffle through the deck. So now we actually have some attack cards. We have the Guard Crush spell. Zikra cast immediately. We have Arpeggio open, so this will prevent Talla from going in. She still commits though. Might have committed before noticing that the Arpeggio was cast, and then a very standard cross-up mix-up. That cross-up is so good with stuff that just sends a lot of cubes in short succession at the opponent, such as the bit shift or the Arpeggio volleys. Because like even if you don't get like a perfect timing for them, they're gonna land like right next to each other or very close to each other in a succession. So you don't necessarily need to have your timing like perfectly on point, as if you were trying to maybe do the cross up with one cube. That sounds like a really difficult thing to do. Is it though? Right, once again, very limited tools for Zikra. That Rainbow Cube certainly ain't one of the more aggressive cubes. It's more like a lockdown tool when you're already having your pressure going. You can use it as an Oki tool for sure. However, that massive range for Talla will be able to cleave it initially. And the Roger Super takes care of all the Arpeggio initial wave. That seems quite strong. Of course, the timing is the key here. You might like, you might use it so that some of the waves are already passing through, or maybe able to. Yeah, it just sounds such a good proposition. If the opponent, like, there aren't too many characters in this game that once the Arpeggio has been cast and is ready to go, there aren't many characters that can do much about that, can escape that or otherwise. Once again, Roger Super forcing the advanced situation. However, Zikra with the patience. Talla still has a burst, good 6p. Those 6ps haven't been working out too often for Zikra, but this time getting a really good one when it matters. Once again, we're trying to counterplay the arpeggio with the Roger Super, but it only takes care of one volley. And the angle of the gate was aligned so that the shots were actually coming from above, right? Right, getting a new hand with that redraw spell. Still inhabiting test case 1. Could actually finish the round. Yeah, that should be a wrap, maybe? We have a potential chip damage opportunity here as well. PP card in hand. Yeah, just this is the kind of thing that you're always thinking about as Asuka. Is the opponent looking at my hand? Do they actually realize that I'm holding a DP spell? Because if they do, that should trigger certain kind of adjustments in their gameplay. And indeed, Talla might have been looking at that hand because Talla was momentarily hesitating there. But she might have been hesitating as well because her life was just so low. Same kind of hand that we ended the previous round with. A couple of cubes. We got the DP as well. Got one of the buffs from test case 2, slightly rarer stuff. Because like way fewer Asuka players are actually comfortable playing the test case 2. It's like maybe Zikra and Strelitzia that I see like actively sometimes playing the test case 2. Once again, a lot of the meter that Talla is able to build is going into this Roger Super, understandably so. Because it's probably one of the best counterplays in the game, aside from like stuff that Johnny has to offer. Mistfire, Joker Trick. I mean, Joker Trick and the Roger Super are kind of similar. How many arpeggios do we have? Was that 2 or 3? And we have another one ready to go. First use the Rainbow Cube. Oh, but we're surprised we don't even need the arpeggio. Because we have such a nasty hand of spells. And now it's... Yeah, how are we going to get out of this one? If Zikra plays really nice spacing, the DP ain't ever going to reach. If let's shield into... Talla gets in using the Roger Super and the kickstart. Only one attack spell in hand. Luckily for Zikra, it's rather good if we actually got to use it. There we go. Ooh, the 6 heavy! The 6 heavy would have killed, but they missed it. Good news is Zikra has quite a lot of mana still left, so this amount of life, that nice! Waiting for the opportunity. Wait, when did Zikra actually draw that? I don't think I saw that teleport spell in Zikra's hand. Like, was it during the jump? Was it just a spontaneous draw into a teleport, cast it immediately, move behind the opponent and then strike them low? Man. Right, utilizing the Wild Assault there, getting a small hit, and he even had the DP spell in hand. That's the first time that Zikra successfully gets to utilize that. Only 2 spells, but those are good. If there's any sort of opportunity to cast the Screamer, yeah, one of the best stop signs. Massive no-go zone that you can produce against the opponent. But now with the empty hand, ain't looking the best. Might have to sacrifice the burst here. Indeed does so. And able to somehow avoid the Roger Super, but at what cost? You are still at 0 spells, and more importantly, 0 mana. I guess it's like, does the mana even matter if you don't got anything to cast? Alright, shifting into test case 3 here, and looking for an opportunity to draw the big nuts. We have some big stuff though. A couple of Rainbow Cubes. Got the knockdown. However, Talla has been left at a really nice spacing there to be able to poke into the Rainbow Cubes, usually. Arpeggio will be completely dispelled because of the hit, and now a bricked hand that Zikra has to somehow solve. all the meter goes into the YRC, so there aren't gonna be won't be an opportunity to use the what should I call it, the mulligan super. Although Zikra, I think Zikra is an Asuka player who doesn't like to use the mulligan super too much. At least so far we haven't seen too much of that use case. Alright, teleport once again, being the last Hail Mary. However, speaking of Hail Marys, here comes the DP. And Talla definitely ain't ready to release the control of this set just yet, or rather the grasp of this set just yet. Even though Zikra got a couple of really good games here up on Talla. Definitely right on the tail of Zikra. 5-4 now. Throwing the initial cubes from a very protected angle. Of course, being on the ground is the most dangerous against Bridget, especially if she's on like a 5 heavy distance. Then those big 5 heavies might end up cleaving not just through the cubes, but also through the Mr. Wizard himself. But now we're in a pretty good flow. Teleports into the danger zone. And that black hole stuff ain't gonna do much if you don't have any cubes to make rotate around it. Healthy amount of mana still left. So we do have some options here. 6P won't unfortunately be able to go under the mad active frames as well as, you know, the size of that projectile sent through. Yeah, we haven't actually been talking about the aggressive yo-yo toss either, which is, of course, one of the other tools to check Asuka at full screen. It goes so fast, it beats a lot of cubes as it goes through, and then eventually it's gonna reach Asuka. And if Asuka is casting or doing something else, you're gonna get tagged. Yeah, like so. But then again, even if you do, it's not the worst case in the world, because like, you're still at full screen. And what is your opponent gonna do? Go into rolling movement immediately? Well, it's a big counter hit, breaks the mana shield as well. Would that be a kill? Maybe with the use of... No, not quite. Barely outside of the rate of the Wild Assault. However, the opponent did not react in time, so that will make Talla even it up 5 each. Yeah, we're just using that blue Wild Assault as a makeshift dash forward. Just move forward a little bit. Get into a better position. And if the opponent runs into it, they're gonna get tagged. Alright, drawing some good ones here. We'll be able to open Arpeggio. And get another nice... Ooh, was maybe trying to go for like an F-Shiki of some sort. But missed the timing here. Oh my god, Bridget DP from that distance? Surprising. I usually don't consider... Oh, nice! Threading the needle and waiting for the burst as well. That was so good on Zikra. Teleporting away, teleporting back. Nice idea. Actually screwing up the homing nature of the super. Wow, Zikra's just zooming around. What was this round? Immaculate showcase of how to just make everything whip from Bridget. From start to end. Even started the round by taking a hop backward, putting yourself in a position where Asuka is like casting spells rather safely against Bridget as well. Oh, the teleport mix up into. We can shuffle during the rainbow cube juggle. Bit shifts are leveling up in hand. This looks good. But now Talla's opportunity to strike. Potentially getting a mana break here would be really great proposition. But we probably need to find some sort of a hit. There's the hit. And then drop it. Talla is literally at 1 hit point. Deflect shield won't be able to do anything. Won't push Talla far enough away. But still, soft knockdown. Are we gonna? We're gonna make the Wild Assault miss. But again, there's no follow-up from Zikra. We gotta press a button to get the kill. But where's it gonna come from? Talla is... Oh my god, Zikra actually persevered through the cooldown period of recovering all that mana. That's actually madness. Like, how many Asuka players would be like, yeah, I'll just defend here, right? I'll just defend until I get all my mana back, and then I'm gonna cast. Like, you still have buttons as Asuka, right? Like, the K buttons reach relatively far. The slash buttons, okay. The 2D, I mean, there are some options. Also, why am I dropping out of this game? Are you gonna tell me that we're not missing the last match? Okay, good. But not the big question is, did the players actually like desync or something? Because I think Talla said that they got a mighty lag spike there. And then more importantly, did I just miscount the games? Is it the classic question, did QK miscount? Is it 7 already? Okay, so it looks like Talla just got booted off. Oh, it looks like... Wait, Talla wasn't even playing during the last one? Okay. That's interesting. So there was a complete desync. So... Is it gonna be 5-5 then? It's a little hard to sometimes judge like what is going on. I'm genuinely trying to understand what is going on here, and if... So wait, it in my eyes, it really looked like the players played like the previous one, and then, of course, like the one I got just disconnected from, that's the one where they desynced, right? I'm trying to understand what is going on here. Okay, so it is 6-5. Okay, that makes sense. Then everything makes perfect sense. I guess there was a little bit of miscommunication there. Hi, sweetie, I'm streaming still. My wife is bringing like, beautiful cats to see me. Anyway. Looks like Talla has to reconnect to the lobby. My cats are super cute, by the way. Do you see my cats in the lobby that I've constructed in this Guilty Gear Strive? I've got my 2 white Maine Coons right here, Luna and Milky, side by side, and then I got my wife Raven up here. See what I did? I constructed my whole life and my whole family up here. Anyway, from a 6-5 position, Zikra up 1 point. This next one could be the end, or we could have an epic end to the last set of the evening.
So instead of reflecting on themselves, they blame the beasts, heaven or hell.
But now, definitely on the latter part of the sets, it's been looking like Zikra has had a little bit of an upper hand, but Asuka, remember, there is a little bit of variance to this character. We could always just spawn a couple of rounds with a really awful hand. I mean, technically, because you spawn in test case 1, by definition, you always are gonna have some amount of immediate attack spells. Like so, even if you had like one utility spell in hand, we still have the solid classics such as standard cubes and or screamers ready to be unleashed. But Talla's going pretty strong here. Immediate wall break, half of the mana bar of Zikra's is gone. And now there ain't gonna be frame advantage to utilize any of those spells, especially that screamer that Zikra would probably love to utilize immediately to chain into a couple of the cube spells and then chain the or shuffle the hand more. Yeah, this looks like we're kind of cooked here. Everything is going wrong. In fact, like, Zikra didn't really per se make a lot of wrong decisions here, but it's sometimes like if you're not willing to commit a lot of resources into that defense, you know, such as like the burst or the deflect shield, like there's not much you can do if you don't get an opportunity to cast. Opportunity to cast certainly has presented itself here for Zikra, jumping into a nice position where you can't get to Asuka very easily, even with the too heavy of Bridget's. Ooh, cut them low! The classic RPS was trying to 6P one of those high-profiling pokes that Bridget does represent quite often, but Talla was on the right Yomi layer, poking under, and now no way to cast more. We tried to swing into it, but the far slash from Asuka just ain't as good as those pokes from Talla. We're indeed heading into the last one of the evening, 6-6. Last one. It's gonna be the final one. Even though Zikra had a decent lead there at some point, Talla basically making all of that for nothing. It's all or nothing this round. We have a DP card in hand. So we got a couple of interesting options here. There we go. Instant air dash from Asuka of all characters. Won't be able to follow it through into much back throw though. Actually huge. Trying to go for some sort of a jump-in setup. DP will take care of it. Trade into mana break. There is space, but oh, this is actually gonna call it out. Even though Kickstart My Heart is so fast, that super is one of the fastest in the game as well. Kind of like a projectile version of Dead on Time, or what is it, Super Mappa Hunch from Slayer. Because when it gets going, oh boy, it gets going. We still have a little bit of mana. The Screamer completely misses. If you're able to back out of those Screamers, that's gonna be a nice RPS win for you. And then pouncing forward once again with Kickstart My Heart. And it's Talla who gets into the set point position first. Zikra looking quite strong here. Will be able to shuffle. Will be able to bait that DP. No burst from Talla just yet. Tries another one. I mean, I got life. I got more opportunities, but now I think Talla has been basically committed into taking the burst into the last round. This is looking kind of strong for Zikra. Has a lot of resources, maybe lacking on the mana department, but that can be fixed fairly fast. Oh, trying to push. Oh my god! Just barely avoiding the rainbow cube. This could be it. 0 mana. This could be over. We got deflect, wild assaults as well. Slowly getting the mana back, but it's too late. The damage has already been done. That 1/3 of life just evaporated instantly from the life bar of Zikra's. Zikra has been very very patient on defense, even like so patient that you just don't press any button. You're just trying to persevere through that mana break and then take a risk as soon as you get it back. But what if there ain't gonna be a next time? What if you don't have time to get it back? What if you have to take a gamble right here? And Zikra kinda had to. But with the swift combo, Talla just erasing the life bar. Really great comeback there at the very, very last moment for Talla. Both players playing absolutely out of their mind. I'm surprised how it's especially like it actually boggles my mind in a way how Zikra was so patient on the defensive department, actually on a back foot so often as well. And yet Zikra at one point was up several games. It's a very rare feature among Guilty Gear players, I want to say, being able to win through defense or rather persevere in order to then later get into that hyper offensive position again. Because there usually are not second chances. You usually get snowballed really fast. You get your life bar deleted and you just have to say, oh well, let's go to the next round. It's gonna be better that time. Whew. That was quite the set, and as it happens, that also was the last game of the evening for us. And what an evening again. It started out fairly cursed, but you know, it happens. It happens. We got through all of that in the end. Let's see what else is there available. Is the Arc World Tour? Yeah, the Under Night finals are already in motion, and I personally want to get to watching that as soon as possible as well. So let's try to figure out quick. Guilty Gear Strive. Any streams up? I guess Scatter is watching AVT as well. Oh yeah, there's the Mothbit beginner bracket that we've been raiding a lot recently. Yeah, let's just go for a quick raid on that, because I wanna watch AVT as soon as possible. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Next week it's gonna be new time zone, right? Or rather daylight savings time. Or what's the inverse of daylight saving time? Either way, I think we're gonna move into Central European summertime next week, so don't get mixed up. If you want to sign up, you can join my Discord. You know how. Sign up forms are going to be posted there in just a moment as we go offline. And yeah, we'll set you up with a match of your respective skill level, as well as hopefully an opponent you have good connection to. And we'll play the same show matches next week as well. It's been fun. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed casting. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye. Next Sunday. Enjoy the Arc World Tour finals. Bye-bye.